At 7, a family pays tribute to a student from South London killed in Italy. The Queen opens the new super-speed train terminal at St Pancras, and Lily Allen's frilly new foray at 7 o'clock. I'm Katie Brathwaite. Police in Italy are questioning 3 people, friends of student Meredith Kirscher from Coulsdon, who was found dead in her bedroom on Friday. Detectives say the 21-year-old was killed trying to fend off a sexual attack. Her housemate has been arrested. She's being questioned by police, along with 2 men. And in the last hour, Meredith's sister Stephanie read a statement in Perugia on behalf of the family.
She was looking forward to coming home this weekend for her mother's birthday, with her suitcase laden with chocolates. Meredith touched the lives of everyone she met with her infectious, upbeat personality, smile and sense of humour.
The Queen's opening the new Channel Tunnel rail terminal at St Pancras. It's home to an even faster high-speed train that will shuttle passengers to Paris in record time of 2 hours and 15 minutes, cutting the journey time by 20 minutes. More than 1 million people have already booked tickets. The refurbishments cost £800 million, and travel historian Simon Bradley says it's an impressive job.
Well, I think it's splendid. It's the best restoration of a railway building of this size and scale for a very long time. And the new work is consistently interesting, and the entire project is very exciting indeed, I think.
The car which crashed, killing Princess Diana, did collide with a white Fiat Punto. That's what experts at the inquest into her death have concluded after analysing white paint on the wrecked Mercedes. Fire crews have found the body of another one of their colleagues in a burnt-out warehouse in Warwickshire. 1 more still missing in the remains of the building, which caught fire on Friday. Appeal court judges have been hearing from the scientist whose evidence convicted Barry George of the murder of Jill Dando in Fulham 8 years ago. The gunshot residue found in Mr. George's pocket has now been called into question. We're getting reports that hundreds of homes are without power in Sutton. This is the second night of problems in the area, and police are directing traffic at junctions as traffic lights are also affected. Sutton Common mainline train station has also closed. Do stay with LBC for updates. Sport, Chelsea and Liverpool are both in Champions League action tonight. The Blues face Schalke, knowing a win will see them qualify for the last 16. Meanwhile, Liverpool must beat Besiktas to have a realistic chance of progressing. And in showbiz, Londoner Lily Allen will become the new face of saucy lingerie firm Agent Provocateur. According to the Mirror, the 22-year-old singer replaces model Kate Moss in a 6-figure deal. It's thought her natural curves will appeal to a lot of women customers. And taking a look at London's weather, chilly tonight with clear skies, lows down to 4 Celsius. Tomorrow, cold and bright, start off with more cloud later on, highs of 14 Celsius. This is LBC. It's 7:03.
This is Alan Joyce in the LBC 97.3 Travel Centre. So as you heard in the headlines there are problems in the Sutton area at the moment because of a large power cut. So a number of traffic lights are not working properly, and it is causing delays, especially around the Rose Hill roundabout area. Police instead are having to direct some of the traffic in the area, and it's also causing problems on the trains. The Sutton Common train station has been closed because of that. We'll update you as and when we get more details, but do add your updates. 08000 68 60 80. Now, the North Circular remains a nightmare if you're going eastbound. It's queuing pretty much solid from Gunnersbury Park past Hanger Lane and all the way through to Staples Corner following an accident earlier. Now, there's only one lane closed on the flyover itself, so the front end of the queue starting to move better now. But there has been a breakdown blocking the middle lane in the queue at Stonebridge Park. The M1's very slow heading out of town from junction 9 at the A5 up to 11 at Dunstable following an accident. Still one lane closed there. And very slow out of town on the A4 from Hammersmith all the way through to the Chiswick roundabout, and then continue slow on the M4 towards the Heston services after a van fire earlier on. Football on tonight at QPR, Millwall and Barnet, so it will be busy around the grounds. On the tubes, delays on the Hammersmith and City line, and First Connect trains have 20-minute delays between Blackfriars and East Croydon. Your next updates in 15 minutes. LBC 97.3 Travel with Confused.com, the online search engine for car insurance.
I feast my eyes, I spoil my ears, I'm state-of-the-art, I'm digitalised, I've pin-sharp pictures, I've surround sound, I've woken up to LCD vision, I even dream in higher definition, I've rugby, tennis and films galore, what man or woman could ask for more?
With so much TV to look forward to, you'll appreciate the free 5-year guarantee on all TVs at John Lewis, or visit johnlewis.com.
I'm looking forward to decadence. I'm guaranteed for 5 years hence.
Stay on business at Express by Holiday Inn and turn reward points into brownie points with free nights worldwide. Book online at hiexpress.co.uk. Conditions apply.
Time can seem like an eternity when health's involved. That's why the Urgent Care Centre at the private Princess Grace Hospital provides a walk-in service for minor injuries or medical emergencies. No appointments needed. A doctor will see you as quickly as possible. Standard initial charge £100. The Urgent Care Centre at Princess Grace, close to Baker Street Tube. Open 7 days, 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. Last patient seen at 7:30 p.m. Over 18s only. Just walk right in. Visit urgentcarecentre.co.uk.
LBC 97.3.
Absolutely.
0845 60 60 973.
Nick Abbott. Here we go.
So, did you see all that ridiculous folderol this afternoon with the man walking around in the stockings and the big stick banging on the door and can we come in and would you like to come over and hear Her Majesty have a chat? And
where were you?
All of that silliness that goes on still to this day. It just looked ludicrous. Did you see any of that?
I didn't.
The pomp and ceremony of the grand opening of Parliament herself.
Were you watching it?
The guy has to knock on the door with a big stick.
That's Black Rod. Black Rod. Why he's called that, unless it's just the name of the stick that he carries.
How long have we been doing that?
No idea. 6 weeks now. I don't know that either. History is one of those subjects that I just couldn't take on board. Names, dates, remembering things, not my thing.
I quite enjoyed history.
You did? Which part of it? So, to me, it was just an exercise in memory. Whoever could memorise things the best and just repeat facts, because there's no. If you do psychology, there is the potential to come out with a different opinion on whatever you're talking about than the person who's teaching. Whereas history is just a repetition, parrot style. It just seems so boring.
That is all subjects, though, these days. You just have to remember, word for word, what other people have said on the subject.
Yeah, well, that's very true, yes. You are quite correct about that. I don't know, but I've read that that's exactly what the government, in its finite wisdom, has been persuading our kids to do. Our boys and girls
do you think
up at the front, all they have to do is just repeat, parrot fashion, what they've been told, and they will pass with an A.
We're going to run out of new theories
take the exam
soon.
Or... Huh?
We're going to run out of new theories soon.
What does that mean?
Well, because if we're remembering what other people have said, and that's all that's being taught in schools, where are the new theories going to come from? There won't be any.
New theories?
Yes.
It's not 10 minutes in and I'm lost already. What do you mean? New theories on what?
On anything. If you're studying sociology or psychology or... It's all people's opinions, isn't it? Subjects like that.
Yeah, sociology, psychology... oh. An error. Never mind. Hey, I opened something in my computer that had a suffix that I didn't recognise. I thought it was going to be Howard Stern, and it was a dot something or other that I don't recognise. You know, dot .avi is sound, or is it vision? Something like MP3 is sound. But it had, and I clicked it, and you know that moment when you click something and you think, oh, I shouldn't have done that? And then a little window flashed up far too quickly for me to see it, and then disappeared. And ever since, my computer's been...
Oh, no.
I've been shouting at it. It's just been really playing up.
What's the symptoms?
Oh, too many and numerous to talk about right now, but it's just become very irritating. I think I've killed my computer. And it's all Howard Stern's fault.
Why?
Where did you get this?
Off the World Wide Wait. Can you believe that there are bad things on the internet?
No, of course there aren't.
But what were you looking for, or what were you trying to download?
Are you allowed to say it on the air?
One of his shows. That's a very bad thing to do, but I did it anyway. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to go and buy a new one of those. But they don't last more than a year now, do they? Built-in obsolescence.
I think
comes as a feature with everything you buy these days.
They're built to break after a year, so you go back and spend more money with the shop.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
5 years ago, and my friend built it, and he made it out of all the best bits you could get at the time. And now, if you looked at it, if you showed it to a computer expert, they just go,
Yeah.
you can buy something from down the market that's better than what I've got.
Yes.
For £4.50.
But I'm still soldiering on with it until it all just smoke comes out the back. 'Cause
in
I
much the
refuse
same,
to trade up.
I'm doing exactly the same thing with my car. I'm loath to spend another penny on it, but it can last at least as long again as I've already owned it, which is about, there again, history. I've got no idea, but many years.
Do you even know what car it is?
I could recognise it in the car park, yes.
It's got wheels on it.
It does. Well, I don't know, I parked it at the back here. It's probably...
Not for much longer.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
may have just a door left.
Yeah. But yeah, there is built-in obsolescence in everything we buy these days, and we seem to accept that. MP3 players, for instance, I won't mention the brand, but everyone who's ever owned one of these things that everyone keeps shouting about, oh, it's the most fantastic gadget, and so on, they only last a year. And people happily go and spend another 250 quid on another slightly thinner, slightly bigger on the inside, like the TARDIS. And we just, they will continue to do it to us until we say no.
Yeah, but
again.
nobody's saying no.
No, well, I know.
I've had this argument before.
With who?
Lots of people.
Oh, blimey.
Not that I
you must
argue
be-
with everybody.
You must be fun to be around.
I've actually felt peer pressure with my MP3 player. 'Cause
Peer pressure?
Well, I got an unfashionable but reliable one, again, about 5 years ago, and I've had no trouble out of it. And
It's not the
still
old
got loads of
Walkman, is
space.
it?
No. It's still got loads of space on it, but I feel the pressure to get, the one that everyone else has got.
Yeah, and I don't want it for that very reason. That because everyone else has got one, I think, well, no. And I've got an MP3 player, one of the first ones that was made. It weighs about as much as a brick.
4 stone.
It's huge. You virtually need a suitcase to carry it around with. And I can't. It's broken to the point. Well, no, it hasn't broken. It needs Windows 98 to feed more music into it.
Really?
And no one's got that anymore. I mean, that's how old it is. And so I can't actually put any more music on it. I'm stuck with the 20 albums that are in there. But I refuse to buy a new one just because everybody else is... And this Friday there'll be queuing from Oxford Circus to, well, Land's End, probably, to go and buy that little phone thing. And I've seen them, and you think, well, if that was just a phone, I wouldn't think that it was a very good... it doesn't hold very well. It's just too square. But people are going to rush out and buy one anyway, even though it's going to cost them £900. And the publicity blitz for that started a little while ago. They must have started leaking them out to celebrities. I mean, I saw the car chap, Jeremy Clarkson, the bloke with the wooden teeth.
Wooden teeth?
He keeps going on about the teeth of the little
Richard Hammond's
yeah, he
white
keeps
teeth.
right. He keeps going on about that. He shouldn't draw attention to his teeth because when you look at when someone's on television, their head is twice the size of normal, and they're in your living room, and you can't but be drawn to his mouth because that's the thing that's moving, and it's a horrible sight. It really is. I mean, I think it should be beholden upon people in television to get their teeth done.
That is a must. Who's the singer that's got... I probably shouldn't say this, but he was on the reality programme a few months back, and he's got really bad teeth.
Shane McGowan.
No.
Well, he has the world's worst teeth. He has teeth like a disused cemetery.
Does he have any teeth left?
Well, I think just the one. Sticking up in the middle.
Yeah.
He could put a polo over it, but that's it. Who? What reality
He
program?
sings like a tenor.
Sings like a tenor.
Oh, it was with Simon Cowell, and they had to buzz them off. I'm sure he was on that.
It was...
What was the programme called?
Well, it
Did
sounds
you
like
watch
the Gong
it?
Show. They had to buzz them off.
Yes.
Oh, do you mean the big guy who was sold?
Yes, and he has really bad teeth.
Paul something, wasn't
You need if you're going to be in the public like that, I think you really need to get your teeth
Yeah,
done.
everyone on television should have their teeth done.
It should be law.
Yeah. I mean, it is in America. They can't believe the state of the British mouth. It's a running joke over there. OK, well, let's see what it's like outside. It's 7:15. Here's Travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. There are still big delays around the Sutton area.
I was wrong, and I owe an apology to Her Royal Highness, the
Queen?
Yeah.
The most glamorous woman in the world.
Apparently so, yes.
What have you done?
And yesterday I said that she was not glamorous at all, and she was frumpy. And
She complained again?
I was absolutely right about that. Until I saw a picture of her in the,
Evening Standard?
Yes, in colour. And she's just getting out of the carriage to go inside. Because once she got inside the Houses of Parliament, the lighting in there is so bad that she just didn't look like much. But outside in the in the full glare of sun, she looks fabulous.
She does look good, doesn't she?
Well, she doesn't look great, but what she's wearing looks tremendous. It's amazing what putting on £100 million worth of jewels will do to your
And
appearance.
having the right lighting.
Yeah. But you certainly look glamorous there. And the amount of decoration that her husband has got on, I mean... Really? Where's all that from?
Nick, you need to curtsy now.
Did he serve in any fields
I don't know.
war? Because he's got 1 million medals on every
I'm
time
surprised
you
he can stand up. The amount of weight that he's got on that jacket is just ludicrous.
Just keel forward.
Yeah. But I think somebody in his position just gets medals.
Given them.
Being.
For nothing.
Yeah. Well, this one on the left here is for not tying.
And this is for insulting Hong Kong, this one's for insulting Australia, this one's for insulting...
So how did the speech go, by the way? I couldn't be bothered to listen to it because we knew what was going to be in it, and the only reason that I would watch it is to see if she stumbled over any words, but she normally does it extremely well.
You're one of those people that laughs at other people's mistakes, or
if
they fall over.
That would be me and everybody else. There's a thing called YouTube, which is just people falling over. That's all that is, YouTube.
Yeah. There are some funny clips on there.
Have you bought your poppy yet?
No. Have you, Alex?
No, I want one for the car. I saw a cab with a massive one, on the front, but I don't know where to get them, I guess.
Have a look on YouTube.
Garages or something.
Poppy garages.
If anyone knows where, let me know.
Because Jon Snow has, last year he refused to wear one. You know, at about this time, and there seems to be an arms race of poppy wearing, to wear it earlier and bigger than anybody else, as though that means that you care more.
Especially in the media.
Yes, and so everybody on television, before you go on camera, you just get to pick from the large box. And I haven't seen this, I don't know that this is true, but I'd be amazed if it wasn't. There'll be a large box of poppies just off camera for you to select one before you go on. The people that are on TV that are wearing poppies, they didn't arrive with a poppy, by and large. They get given one just before they go on, so as not to stand out, so as people won't say, oh, well, I mean, I know it's August, but why isn't he wearing one?
August?
Well, isn't it Remembrance Sunday? Now it's Remembrance Month.
Is
They've
it?
been wearing them for weeks. Yeah, I mean, Match of the Day they all had them on last weekend, and it's not till...
Have you got yours?
No.
Why not?
Well, for the very reason that I'm...
You're making a stand?
Yeah. No, I'm not making a stand. It's not time yet.
Will you be wearing one on Sunday?
Is it this Sunday?
Next?
Yeah.
No, no, it is. This Sunday coming.
It's always around the 11th, right?
It is
or
the 11th.
It is the 11th, rather.
Oh, it's only Tuesday, isn't it?
It is.
I'm thinking it's the end of the week already.
Feels like it, doesn't it?
Turned around. Yeah, my whole life has been just turned upside down. I haven't quite got used to it yet.
You're used to doing 1 or 2 days a week.
Yes. Jon Snow, the newsreader, caused uproar last year when he refused to wear a poppy, citing a disinclination to bow to poppy fascism.
Oh,
that's the actual
ridiculous.
phrase that he used. This year he has quietly resumed his poppy-free stance. He tends not to wear one, says Channel 4 spokesman. The editor says it's personal choice, and up to each presenter to decide what they want to do. He's not alone. Why take a stand on that? I mean, even if you're not...
That's quite harsh, really, isn't it?
Poppy fascism. He's got a point.
What's the point?
That you feel as though you are not towing the line, you are in some way unpatriotic if you don't wear one. It's opting out, really, as opposed to opting in.
But isn't it about respect and remembrance? And why shouldn't we remember?
Well, why should you have to wear paper poppy as a
Okay, that's
as
true.
a visual emblem.
You can
of
have your own little remembrance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in much the same way as praying. You don't have to go to a church to pray. You can do it while you're riding along on the tube. I mean, if you believe in those things, God will find you anywhere, right?
Hopefully.
I think people want to feel part of a movement, don't they? It's a collective thing. You feel solidarity.
Yeah, but the poppy fascism phrase that he used is kind of right, because in this case it is opting out. If you don't wear one, you are you're making more of a stand than if you do wear one. Does that make sense?
Yes.
In much the same way that organ donors should be opting out rather than opting in, because then more people will get organs. You know what? I'm confused. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm sort of as a third person listening to myself just mumble away like this. I'm thinking, what the hell are you talking about?
Let me get this right. If you don't sign up for organ donation, more people will get.
It's a bit strange.
How did we come on to organ donation?
I don't know.
No.
Like, I really don't know. I feel that physically I'm here. Mentally, I'm still at home with my feet up watching TV.
You know things are going downhill when you start moving on to death.
And I'll continue to be mentally at home with my feet up watching TV until my mind is told that things have changed.
Anything good on the TV?
Maybe you should just pretend you're at home still, and since you do a good line in shouting at the television, and just transfer that to here.
Oh, right. But that would mean shouting at you.
Well, I can turn that TV round and you could just shout at it, and we'll all be happy.
But I thought that was a bit of an odd thing, because he's only going to get grief about that, to not wear one. People are going to start pointing at him and saying he's not being patriotic and he's not supporting our boys and so on and so forth. It's just such an odd thing to take a stand about. I mean, I know that he is a maverick, you know, with the crazy ties and all the rest of the thing that he's got going for him. But it's, I mean, he seems to be just storing up trouble for himself by doing that.
Yeah, he's not exactly going to court sympathy, is he?
No.
By saying, ooh,
it's only going to be it's only going to be negative. Yeah, really weird.
It's got him some publicity though, hasn't it?
I don't think he's
even if it's bad publicity, it's still publicity.
Yeah, no, I really don't think that that's why he's doing it. But they do need the ratings, mind. And now that ITV's News at 10 is coming back, nobody cares about that, really. Does anybody actually care?
Well, I liked the bongs. I missed those.
But do you care about Trevor McDonald?
Trev. He was quite good. We had this conversation the other day.
I don't think that he was.
I believed what he was saying.
Well, you always believe what they're saying on
No, sometimes you don't.
Well, who don't you believe?
Can't start mentioning names. No, but sometimes, you know, when somebody's reading the news, it doesn't have to be on TV, on radio, and you just think they don't sound like they know what they're talking about. But with Trevor...
But newsreaders hardly ever sound like that, because they're just reading. They're not making it up off the top of their head. They're just reading what somebody else has written. It's got to be the easiest job in the world. I mean, other than just sitting and reading the newspaper at home, there can't be an easier job. They don't do anything.
I think Trevor carries certain respect with him, especially for commercial station.
I think it's only because he's been doing it for such a long time, and for no other reason. Because I think that the chap who does the standing up news now on ITV, who was a bit put out that Sir Trev was being brought back, I think he's much better, has much more gravitas, and seems like less of a... I don't know, it's... And now that Trevor's doing comedy, I think that there's two things... There's one thing that newsreaders cannot do and maintain their gravitas, and that's comedy. Please, stop trying to be funny.
LBC.
Catford, Trixie.
Hi.
Hello,
Trixie. Gosh, wow. So how many shows a week are you doing at the moment?
At the moment, as it stands, 8.
Blimey.
8 days a week. Me and the Beatles.
Yeah, you're not kidding. My gosh, no wonder you're missing putting your feet up.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Well, you wait.
Oh dear.
I don't think it's quite sunk in yet. The horror.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, I reckon.
You'll be fine, promise. You should start putting your feet up in the studio. You know, and then get the webcam going and we can all see what you're doing.
In America, people don't, or often they don't sit in front of a stationary microphone. They walk around like a rock star.
Yes.
With a mic in their hand and just sort of wander around and do things.
I've done that before now, but then there again it was in a window studio. So,
A what now?
Sorry?
A what?
Oh, it was a window studio in the long defunct radio station that I
What's a window studio?
Well, we were on street level.
Oh, right.
And we had two studios.
Had to put on a show.
We had two studios, and one of them was on street level, and it was a window.
Was this wonderful Radio Finland?
No, it was a different one. Radio Finland was the external broadcasting service of YLE, which is the Finnish Broadcasting Company. It's like a very, very small version of the World Service. I haven't heard it recently, but I know that they've been downsizing it.
I'm very, very sad to hear that.
Why?
I'm not very sad to hear it,
No,
Trixie.
exactly. You don't know anything about it.
No, I don't.
Don't worry. The show that I had was it was a commercial radio station. I had my own live show, and it was like I was in the window studio, not all the time because it was.
And people would just sort of stand out there and gawp at
standing
you.
outside, literally.
That sounds
awful.
I would hate that.
Yeah, seriously. And I was standing up to, waving at them, and they could hear.
I mean, it's bad enough that Ros and Alex are looking at me. No offence.
But this is. It was just opposite the railway station in the middle of Helsinki.
So it's a nice part of town.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's called Makkaratalo or something.
Yeah.
Don't worry, sausage. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, yes. There was one. I will never forget this because these blokes were outside and they were obviously extremely drunk, and they were waving at me, and they unzipped their trousers.
Oh, lovely.
So I said, "Oh, it's lovely sausages on display," or something like that.
Well, of course, you can get away with that kind of material in Finland. Not so much here.
Well, the thing is that nobody knew what was happening. The listeners didn't know what was going on.
Right.
But the people in the street obviously did. But it was quite scary, and they stopped the window studio because somebody actually smashed the window during a show.
Oh, a music lover, was it?
I don't know. It was a crazy show, and people somebody just threw
a crazy show. Hey, they got wacky DJs in Finland.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening there now. I have absolutely no idea. But there's for Radio Finland again. I don't know what's happening. They
Is Finland? I don't know. I can't think of a single thing that I know about Finland. Now, but before you tell me,
yeah.
Do you know anything about Finland, Alex? One
there's a good
fact.
Monty Python song about it.
Oh yes, Finland, Finland, Finland. It's the country for me, pony trekking and camping.
Okay.
Or just watching TV.
That's not really about Finland. That's more about
No,
Britain.
nothing to do. We don't have there was no pony trekking in Finland. Well, because
Can you think? Hang on a minute, Trixie. I'm
Sorry, I'm
determined to get to the bottom of this. Do you know anything at all about Finland? One single fact. No, not you.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I can't think of a single thing I know about Finland. What a giant failure of a country that must be.
What's the main product
I don't
in Finland?
Hand up, arm waving in there.
All right, wait a minute, Trixie.
Oh,
wait.
Right. Okay.
It's herring. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a Scandinavian wide.
Maybe we should Google Finland or put up the CIA page.
Cheating. That's cheating. You're not meant to be using Google.
Other search engines are available.
Shall I say something?
Wait a minute. Finland. Oh, in fact, Wikipedia Finland. That would be because there's nothing but facts.
They're not going to let me talk.
On Wikipedia. You've been doing nothing but talking, Trixie. Hang on a second. We're just trying to get to the bottom of this. You've been you brought up some important issues.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad, Nick.
Finland. You got any idea, Ros? Can you think of one thing about Finland? Anything?
Absolutely nothing.
I can't think of a single thing about. I mean, that's shocking. This is a country in Europe.
And there's one thing which I will not say is one product that it's very famous for. And
Okay,
the
we're
people at home will be, there's certainly people on Digital Spy will be chewing their telephones probably. That.
One thing that they're very famous for.
Yes, and people on nickabbott.com will be going, what?
Oh, right. Well, that's not... I know what you're talking about, and that's not anything to do with Finland.
What?
Helsinki, okay, that's...
Yes, Helsinki, that's a famous product.
It's in northern Europe, bordering the Baltic Sea, and the Gulf of Bothnia. Not Bosnia, Bothnia.
Oh, it's Bosnia.
I've never heard of it. Go down.
Oh, right.
Down, down, down. Can I control that with this? No. No control at all. Find an interesting fact. Go on, I double dare you. Roz.
Roz? She's probably taking a... Roz? It's not Roz.
Roz!
Is it Roz?
I'm here.
Find an interesting fact. Do I have control of this machine in here?
Okay, I've got an interesting fact.
Is that a yes? Do I have
no,
control
you don't
of this? No,
you will in a second. Go on, you do now.
Oh.
Okay, an interesting fact.
Yes.
Its highest point is... Oh,
right,
you just moved.
That's not interesting.
To me it was.
Its highest point? Who cares about that?
Birth rate.
All right, I've looked at no end of stuff, and there's absolutely nothing. Its capital is Helsinki.
Yes.
It's got 6 provinces. It used to be part of Russia.
Yes.
Oh, now you're getting excited, Trixie.
Oh, no. I'm just sort of encouraging you.
All right. Highly industrialised, largely free market economy. Per capita output roughly that of us. So what a bunch of layabouts they are. Mostly services. So they are like us. 65% of their gross domestic product is services. In other words, banking. Moving money from over here to over there and taking a little slice. That's all we do here now.
Can I make a comment about banking?
Interject away.
All right. I think they started, they really got this, now I've lost the word.
I've lost the will to live.
The hole-in-the-wall system, integrated, that's the word. Integrated hole-in-the-wall system, so you could use your card in lots of different holes in the walls of different banks.
You can do that anywhere.
They started that.
Oh, they started it.
Yeah, well, really, they didn't. I don't know if they started the hole-in-the-wall all over the world, but I mean, they really integrated the system.
Oh, well done, Finland. You're doing tremendously well. You keep it up.
I came back to this country on holiday, and I couldn't use my card. I thought, I was doing everything by card. You could do anything by card, and this is way back in the...
They've started a card now that you can, that's going to be a replacement for money. That you don't have to have a PIN number for anything under £10. Have you seen that? There's adverts for those things all over the... Well, they are an Oyster card, some of them.
Yes.
It's an Oyster card, a credit card, and just having cash.
Yes, but the thing is, if you lose it, what happens?
Well, exactly. You've just given someone 10 quid.
Yeah, I mean...
And free rides on the tube.
Well, what about barcoding yourself and just, unless somebody...
I'm sure it'll come. Yeah.
Oh, it will. It will. I mean, the people are already being barcoded. So.
They make wheat.
Make wheat?
That's what it says here. They make wheat and beet.
Yes, and they grow rapeseed.
Well, everybody does.
Apparently they produce Nokia.
Oh, is that Nokia?
Thank you very much.
Oh, Nokia! Finally, we found something.
There's always one redeeming feature.
Yes.
For
and there's
you.
also a very famous tower called the Neste Tower. Have you heard of Neste?
Neste?
Yes.
Nest-A. Not Nestlé.
No, Neste.
What's that?
They did chemicals and such like. I've lost now. I should remember that.
No, I never heard of it.
Oh.
Finland. It looks really, really boring. Is it?
There are trees and trees and trees.
Oh, trees. Well, you should have said. Trees, you say.
There are silver birch trees and there are fir trees.
Much of it's in the Arctic
Circle.
Circle.
Between provinces, there are tiny, tiny, tiny villages, and there are trees, and there are more trees.
Right, like I said, really, really boring.
And lots of trees. But as
fascinating.
Boring! All right.
It's a buffer between Sweden and Russia.
Yes, it is.
Right, so if the crazy Russian premier, Vlad the Insaner, ever blows his top, then you Finns are going to get it first.
Unfortunately, yes, and that's why Finns are known as they're very, very sort of, or they were. Timo, forgive me. They're very sort of
Say it.
stern.
Stern.
They're probably.
I thought you were going to say
stern.
drunk.
No, well they do that too. They're very stern.
Don't they have a crazy way of doling out alcohol in Finland? Isn't that one of those crazy places where people have to get on a boat and go into international waters, just have a drink?
Yes.
And then they drink themselves into a stupor as fast as they possibly can. Isn't alcohol doled out by the government? You have to go to a government-appointed...
Well, this is where I got told off.
Is this
on,
right
on
or
the
wrong?
Internet. Somebody was saying, well, it's all changed since Trixie was there. So I would please ask somebody who knows a little bit more about recent...
Right, as soon as you left, they unlocked the drinks cabinet.
Exactly, they didn't no holds barred.
Huh.
It has changed. It's more relaxed, apparently.
Right.
But because they were literally ping-ponged between Sweden and Russia, it was really pretty awful. So they became, I don't know. When I was there, it was almost seemed to be xenophobic.
Well, everybody is. Listen, everybody hates everybody else. It's the human condition.
But I knew people, I met some very elderly people who actually had family living in Russia because they were on the border and Russia had nicked the borders in Karelia.
Well, particularly people who live near borders, because you're living close to people who aren't exactly like you, and which will engender feelings of hatred almost in almost everybody the whole world over. As long as you remember that everybody hates everybody else, then you understand the human condition. Anyway, listen, Trixie, I'm glad that we've cleared that all up.
Right. I'm sorry I couldn't be of more help.
No, you've been no end of fabulous.
And don't be so bitchy about her, Madge.
Who, me?
Yes, she's 80.
Right.
Yeah, don't say,
80?
You know, clothes
Well,
look
she
fine.
looks fabulous.
Yeah, she does.
See? There you go.
Considering,
That's
you know,
very-
I'm not a royalist.
That's not bitchy at all.
No.
All right, thanks a lot, Trixie.
Take care.
Thanks for putting me
Bye.
straight. Cheers, my dear. Right, anybody want to go to Finland anytime soon?
No.
Didn't think so. 9:46. Here's Travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick, and still looking at delays around Shepherd's.
Here is Brentwood. Oh, Andy.
Hello, Nick.
Andy.
Yes, mate.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, super. Thanks for asking.
Fantastic conversation with Trixie.
Finland. What do you know about it?
I know that the cups that you'll get out of Starbucks all say Polar Cup, and they're from Finland, so they invented the little hole to suck your love later.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing about that. They must be so very cheap, and yet we rely on them working completely without fault every time we take a sip, because they fit those little plastic tops. And I've thought about this at length. Those little plastic tops fit on those cheap little cups with absolute precision. And if they didn't, then when we take a sip, we get coffee all the way down us. Yet we never test whether this thing that has been made for almost no expense whatsoever is going to work. But yet we expect and rely on it working perfectly every time.
Yeah, not to mention the third-degree burns we could get.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you were driving along in a car, for instance, you took a sip of your coffee, and the cheap thing that you got it in wasn't 100% engineered correctly, you could die.
Absolutely. And they make a lot of paper in Finland as well.
Right, because of all the trees.
Yeah, but when I was over there, a lot of Scottish people were going over there working at the paper mills.
A lot of what, sorry?
Scottish people were going over there working at the paper mills.
Scotch people.
Yeah.
You have no idea how much that upsets them.
But they were. Scottish people, guys were going from Scotland to their paper mills, and they were sort of swapping everything over, and guys from there going to... Most of the paperworks are on the eastern side near the Russian border.
Right.
And they don't have stink.
Of what?
Well, money smells, doesn't it? And the pulp is absolutely vile.
Money smells.
Yeah, the pulp, the paper pulp is absolutely vile to smell.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's just trees.
Yeah, well, not to mention, there's a lot of trees, but there was an advert on television some years ago where it was lakes and trees we have plenty of, but not a lot of tourists. Do you remember that one?
No.
No, probably a bit before your time.
And I bet they still don't have many of them.
No, they don't, but...
I don't know why I'm being so unreasonably unpleasant to Finland.
It's a lovely place, Nick. It's very, very nice. In the summer you can have plus 30, but in the winter you're down to minus 30, but it is a very...
Which makes you wonder, why did anybody ever settle there in the first place? I mean, if it's minus 30, can you imagine what it would have been like when, we were all still living in caves? Why would people stay? I mean, if they just wandered up there during the summer and thought, oh, this is quite nice, but then, a few months later they were up to their ears in snow, you'd think that they'd leave.
Well, for a country more or less the same size as the UK, if you don't take Scotland and Wales into account, and 5.5 million people, you're bumping into the same people all the time.
If the UK, if you don't take Scotland and Wales into account, that would be England, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'll be it. That'll be the one.
All right, thanks a lot, Andy. You are adding to our fountain of knowledge.
Don't forget, there was also a world champion in Formula 1 as well.
Kimi Räikkönen.
No, Mika Häkkinen.
Oh, yeah, Mika.
Times world champion, and Keke Rosberg. Nico Rosberg's father, he was a world champion as well.
Well, there's nothing more interesting than motor racing.
Boring!
Yeah, thanks a lot, Andy.
Cheers, mate.
Speaking of which, by the way, Lewis Hamilton, you know that he said he was going to go to Switzerland, another really, really interesting place to be?
Boring!
Don't they hate cars in Switzerland?
Oh, yes, they do, with a passion, yes. They're very anti anything that's not, well, walking, I think.
He's not really going to get on there, is he?
Well, I wouldn't imagine that you'd be doing much speeding there. I think you probably get that all out of your system at work. But people, myself included, have suggested that he's not going to Switzerland because his stated reason was that he's become too famous. He's become too famous. Lewis Hamilton. I mean, come on. He's only been really in the news for the last couple of months, hasn't he? Lewis Hamilton last night blasted critics in the manner of the tabloids. Nobody ever says a word against. They blast. That's a word that nobody would ever use in that context, except in a tabloid newspaper.
Really? Blast?
Well, when have you ever said that somebody was criticising what you'd said and you said that they blasted you? No one would ever say that.
I don't really use that, that word.
Blasted critics who claimed he has moved to Switzerland to avoid paying tax. The Formula One sensation says his superstar status makes it impossible to live in Britain. Have you ever heard such rubbish?
Probably more likely
He's
to
not
do
a
with tax.
superstar. I mean, how many people actually watch motor racing? It must be minuscule. More people watch Top Gear than...
Neighbours.
Neighbours.
And Home and Away. You were saying more people watch... and I said Neighbours.
God. You could have had difficulty fitting a cigarette paper in between those words, but you managed to stick one in there anyway.
It's more popular than you think. Oh.
It can't be.
It is. There's a lot of
It's
closet fans.
It's just not interesting, and I'll have no argument about this. Motor racing is not interesting. Whoever starts at the front of the race finishes at the front at the end, and they just go around and around and around and around.
It is boring.
Nothing ever happens. People watching it in case someone dies in a
So you're a
giant
big fan, then,
fireball.
Nick?
It's just so dull.
Yeah, I mean, I like cars, but it's fairly boring most of the time.
Yeah, but
It's
you
a
only
horrible
like cars
noise.
if you're the one driving it.
And everybody, previous to this Lewis Hamilton arriving on the scene, everybody was saying the same thing. Formula One is very, very boring. And then suddenly this guy comes along, and it looks like Britain might win something, and at the flick of a switch, the entire nation is supposed to be turned on to the excitement of motor racing. Well, it's the same sport, and it's the same people going around and around and around, and still nothing is happening.
Yeah, but he's British.
Exactly.
And
that's the reason why.
For one of the top teams, and he has a chance of winning something that's...
who cares?
You know. I know, but it's just that thing, isn't it? It's like the rugby and all that. But now nobody cares about rugby now that we've lost it.
Yes.
But at the time,
precisely right.
Everyone's into
everyone
it.
can get.
Yes.
We used to get
Fair weather fans.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But Hamilton insists he's not snubbing his growing army of home fans to save tax, with his wages set to rocket to £10 million next season. The Hertfordshire-born racer, 22, said, "I've been surprised by the reaction to me moving abroad. But it's not a tax issue, it's just something I've been advised to do." Yeah, by his accountant. "I've lived in England the last few years and have always paid my taxes." Well, he hasn't been earning anything the last 2 years. Well done, mate. Thanks for making the effort. "I'm at a point in my life where I can go anywhere," and he's choosing Switzerland. I mean, I know David Bowie lived in Switzerland for a little while, but now he's made the right choices living in New York, you know, where actual living and breathing people live. Switzerland. I lived in Luxembourg for about 6 months. It was the most boring place I've ever been in my life.
Why were you there for 6 months then?
I was working on Radio Luxembourg. You have to go there to work on it.
Was it not relaxing, though?
Well, relaxing like a 6-month nap, yeah.
Well, that sounds like heaven for you, doesn't it?
I suppose so,
Oh,
but
I
every now and again you would like to wake up and do something.
This is LBC.
Sun was relatively respectful to this Lewis Hamilton because they have taken him on board as one of their own, like he's, you know, one of our boys. It's the Sun, what won it, that sort of thing. But the Mirror was a little less sucking up. Lewis Hamilton will save more than, because the Sun didn't actually outline what what kind of money he's going to be saving. So he's going to be earning £10 million next year. 40% of that is £4 million. Can you imagine how upsetting that must be to get? Because I mean, there's no such thing as enough money unless you get to just stratospherically, gigantically. But even people like Roman Abramovich, I'm sure, are looking at other billionaires and thinking, well, I'd have quite liked to have bought that island that George Soros has just bought, or, you know, whatever it is. Everybody's got envy, no matter how much they're earning.
Yeah, it's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're in that area.
£4 million a year his tax bill would have been if he'd stayed here. So, coincidentally, he's moving to Switzerland, where, shockingly, their annual tax bill is 5 times their yearly rental on their flat. Isn't that incredible? So you could be the richest person in the world, stay in some crappy flat in Switzerland, for just long enough to claim residency there and pay almost no tax at all.
I wonder why he's going there, then.
But you would have to actually be in Switzerland.
Well, there's always a downside to everything.
That's exactly right.
Chocolate and watches.
Yeah. And
yeah, you'll always know the time.
Anything else? Oh, yeah.
Come on.
You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be in the thick of trying to sort out the writers' strike in America, which might not affect us for a little while, but when it does, it will be misery. You heard about the writers' strike in America?
He's multi-talented, Arnold Schwarzenegger, isn't he?
He seems to be doing very well. The Governator.
He can do everything.
He certainly can, yeah.
The Hollywood writers. Yes.
That's right. Hollywood film and television writers kicked off a strike yesterday with a spirited series of protests in New York and Los Angeles as both sides of the dispute settled in for a long, acrimonious work stoppage. They did this before, quite a few years ago, and it basically stopped Hollywood, which, if you aren't too keen on British fare, because really, as a nation, we don't go and see British films, do we?
Because they're rubbish.
They are rubbish. Well, it's all the same film. It's all got that bloke with the floppy hair who swears a bit and gets the girl in the end.
Either that or it's northern and it's a bit grim.
Yeah, or it'll be just the same gangster film over and over and over.
And they just look like they need a much bigger budget.
We only make 3 films in this country. It's either the film opens with a horse-drawn carriage going up a gravel driveway, and you get one of those, or it's somebody hitting somebody with an iron. That's the only 2 films we make.
What film was that?
You know, the one with the iron?
No.
Horrible. Some shows went dark immediately yesterday, most notably, and this is very upsetting, because I think the best talk show that's on television at the moment is called The Daily Show, which is on More 4, I think, something like that. Very, very good. So that's gone dark, because they are naturally written on a daily basis. David Letterman is also going to go. Apparently they're going to try and keep it going just off the cuff for a few days to see what happens. But I think they'll just say, oh, forget this. Jay Leno as well. Otherwise, the only noticeable difference to film and TV lineups for the next few weeks may be one of quality. Even when TV producers have scripts ready to shoot, they like to have writers on hand to polish dialogue and make other last-minute changes on the set. That won't be happening anymore, as writers make the toughest stand they can to ensure that they are fairly compensated for such new media platforms as DVDs, which they've felt short-changed about for years. It is true that people who write are absolutely the lowest of the low in television land and in films. Everybody else comes above them. The producers have stockpiled enough movie scripts to keep their 2008 production slate on track, and enough television scripts to keep most dramas and comedies on the air, at least until spring, after which point we'll be totally screwed. We'll have to start watching British television.
We could just watch The Sopranos again.
Yes, well, it started again last night. Very exciting. They all look much younger and thinner, but particularly thinner.
They just get fat.
They do, yeah. Well, all they do is eat. They kill and they eat. That's all they do.
I've been to New Jersey now. Okay.
Eating, killing machines. Yes. South Norwood, it's Mr. Lister.
Good evening, Nick.
Philip.
Somebody, I think it was Trixie mentioned about this, this isn't the reason I rung, just thought before I get into the main reason. Trixie mentioned about a radio station in a shopping centre.
Hey!
There is one in this country, and I was lucky enough to be invited as a guest on one of the radio shows, but the trouble was the shopping centre shuts down at 6 o'clock, and I happened to be on at 6 o'clock, so...
You're just staring out the window at...
Yeah, there's always nobody's walking by. I think, what's happened? Is it me?
Yeah.
And
yes,
it's really weird.
That it is you.
Yeah, it's a little mini shopping centre. It's down in Kent, Tunbridge Wells.
Right.
Really interesting. Anyway, I went into Croydon today, Nick.
Are you being sarcastic?
No.
Oh, right. It really is interesting.
I went into Croydon today, Nick, and you have these shops that suddenly spring up at Christmas time. The only time these shops are there are at Christmas time.
What, that look like market traders have taken over an otherwise empty store?
No, not the mock auction one. This one was selling things that you might like to give as Christmas presents.
Right.
And I made a list of half a dozen for you.
A list,
yes.
You say?
Started off with canine Christmas cards at £2 each.
Canine?
Yes. They're Christmas cards, and you give them to your dog, and there's a twist. When the dog's had a look at them, he can eat them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you'd probably do that anyway.
Yeah, but it's made out of things that dogs like. So you can write to Happy Christmas Fido, and then, he can take it off to wherever he goes and eat it.
Made out of what things that dogs like?
Well, I don't know. He doesn't say what they're made out of. It just says that that the dog can eat them.
Other dogs, perhaps?
Well, may well be. But it doesn't say. It doesn't say. But must be pedigree or whatever it is they put in the dog food and things like that.
Yummy stuff.
The second thing is a banana guard.
A what?
A banana guard. These are £4 each. And what it is, sometimes when you eat a banana, you don't want to eat it all in one go.
Oh, come off it. How big a banana are we talking about?
Well, I mean, they're quite big, the bananas these days.
We're looking at 10 inches.
Yeah, absolutely, madam. So what you do, Nick, is when you've had half your banana, it's like a case for glasses. And you put your banana in there until you want to finish it.
What's it made of?
Made of plastic, it looks like to me, you know.
Is it bendy?
No, I think it keeps it straight, so your banana doesn't go to pieces.
Right.
But they're £4 each.
Well, a bargain at half the price.
Yeah. And here's one that, a talking parrot for £7.
A talking parrot?
Yeah, what it is, you talk to the parrot, like you might say to it, I always listen to LBC, and the parrot will come back to you and say what you've just said to him, in a parrot voice.
That sounds about as annoying as the fish on the wall.
Oh, yes, that's right,
sings.
yes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, wouldn't it be great? I mean, you could get one in the studio.
No, it wouldn't.
Oh, all right, okay. For £3, Nick, if that's too expensive for you, Japanese paper soap.
Paper soap?
Yeah, this sounds great. I'm determined I'm going to get some of it.
Soap made of paper?
Yeah, what it is, you get 50 sheets for £3, and it says what you do is you just rub your hands on the paper, and it just sort of disintegrates and makes your hands all clean.
What, like a wet wipe?
Yeah, but it's paper.
Well, isn't a wet wipe paper?
Yeah, but I mean, that's wet. This isn't wet, I don't think.
It's a dry wipe.
It's a dry paper.
So it's just paper?
Yeah. And you rub it, I mean...
Like a tissue, you mean?
Well, yeah, I don't know, really.
Right.
I'm looking forward to... When I get it, next time I call in, I'll let you know what it's like.
How much are they?
£3 for 50 sheets.
For, like, a toilet roll, basically. The world's most expensive toilet roll.
Yeah, I suppose, that
Well, who wouldn't want one of those for Christmas?
Oh, how about a radio-controlled tarantula for 20 quid?
Ah, well, now you're talking.
Yeah, I mean, that if you got someone who likes spiders, that'd be just a thing, wouldn't it?
I think they'd be buying them for people who don't like them.
I've got something for ladies, now. The ladies are going to love this. It's an ironing board cover, right? And what it is...
Every woman listening to this right now is just stunned.
There's a naked man on the ironing board cover, Nick.
Right.
And all he's got is a towel, right? And
Yes.
what it says that when the ladies start ironing and they go over the towel, it disappears.
Right.
Yeah.
Making you iron all the...
Well, yeah, and all the
more
creases
quickly.
out, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the price was, but I couldn't see it.
I don't think there's no price great enough that would dissuade the people from buying such
I
a
mean,
thing.
there's some really great things here, Nick. There's a giant duck that you can have in your bath for £15. It's 32 centimetres long and 27 centimetres high.
I don't do centimetres. What's
Well,
that in
I
inches?
don't. No, it doesn't give it in... I don't know what it is.
30. That's 10, 20, 30. That's about a foot.
Yeah, it's just a giant duck.
Right. So it's duck size.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the size of a duck.
Or if you didn't want them...
And what is it?
It's a giant duck. And, I suppose you could put it in your bath with you.
Oh, it doesn't do anything. It's just a duck.
It's just a friend. You can give it a name.
It's just a dead duck.
Yeah, well, you can have... If that's too big, it says they also do 12 ducks, a family of ducks, for £4.
You can nail them to your wall.
No. They're like... You remember them ducks that went in the ocean that came off a ship?
Oh, the little yellow ones?
Yes.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd be all right. Yeah, 12 ducks for £4.
For 12? What would anybody do with 12?
Well, they're a family. You can't split them up.
Well, I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah. How about chocolate potatoes?
The Queen could put one in each of her bathrooms.
Yeah, that's an idea.
How about a what now?
Chocolate potatoes for £6.
A chocolate potato?
Yeah, what it is, it's 200 grams, and there's this bag, and it looks like those small salad-type potatoes that you buy.
Yeah.
But they're actually chocolate, but they're made to look like potatoes.
For people who really enjoy eating raw potatoes.
And there's chocolate mushrooms as well.
Right.
So, a couple of quick other ones. Bacon and egg plasters. They're £4. So when you cut yourself and you put a plaster on your hand,
Yeah.
you got a picture of egg and bacon.
Are you sure you weren't eating some of these mushrooms?
No, I saw this shop I went in here, I thought I was in heaven. I thought, wow, what they got in here? I got the catalogue. I mean, there's even...
Which is essentially, Philip, a list, isn't it?
You know them little cars that you get racing down the track? What is it, Scale Electric?
Scale Electric, yeah.
They got a terrific one. Granny track racing. It's little grannies, two little grannies in their wheelchairs, and you put them in where the cars go, and they race each other.
Yeah, I think you have been eating mushrooms,
I
haven't
haven't,
you?
it was $16.99.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, Nick, I kid you not. And I think that's everything paper stuff I've left in. Oh yeah, paint your wellies for £13. You get a pair of Wellingtons.
Yeah.
And you get paint and things that you can make them all colourful.
Which you can paint your wellies.
Paint your wellies.
Hence the name.
Yes.
Huh. Well,
Anyway.
it sounds like fun for all the family.
Yeah, okay, Nick. Happy Christmas.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Ta-da. Well, that's practically speechless. Now
I've got no clue what he was going on.
Now
Did you follow any of
Now
that?
I know what I don't want for Christmas. It's 8:15. Here's Alan Joyce with the travel.
Thanks, Nick. The Shepherd's Bush Road is still...
So what are we doing?
We're doing London Colney. Oh, Mandy! Mandy?
Yes.
I never realised how happy you made me.
Well, thank you, Nick.
Not at all. My pleasure.
Please don't laugh at what I'm going to tell you, because I'm going to cry.
You're going to cry?
If you laugh, I'll cry.
Right.
I got a brand new car in June.
Yeah.
And
not funny so far?
No. Friday I went food shopping, and I came to my car to put my shopping in the boot, and I looked at the back of my car, and clearly someone had driven into it at speed.
Was that the funny part?
No,
Right.
It gets worse. It was in a car park of a retail park where I live in London Colney, and I thought, oh, whatever, there's a note on the front.
Whatever, the brand new car, somebody had just driven into it, and that was what you thought, whatever.
Well, I've got insurance, but I thought, well, at least the person's had the decency to leave me a note.
Did they?
No.
No.
It goes, I'm the person that hit your car. I'm really, really sorry, but I'm writing you this note because the people who saw me doing it, and they just came over to me and said how very honourable of me to write you the note to tell you, and I'm sorry what I've done to your car because clearly it's very new. I hope you can get it mended. And that was it.
No name?
No!
Oh, that was the funny part. There's nothing funny about it.
It's like an urban myth, but it's true.
It's infuriating.
But it's so annoying, and I've got to drive tomorrow a courtesy car, which is a Micra, which I don't really want. But I've got to have it, because I need a car.
Right. And what's it replacing?
My new car
What's that?
was a Polo,
Right.
and it was all shiny and new.
Well, get you with your fancy new Polo. Serves you right.
Well, it was a very nice car, but, when I went to open the boot, I thought, it's not quite right, it's all dented, and the bumper was dented, the light was smashed in, it was all a wreck.
Yeah, I've stopped spending money on my car unless it's absolutely essential. The rain comes in my back windows, so I'm going to get that fixed because you really need it to be weatherproof. But you know when the hoolie broke into my car and nicked the sat-nav the other day out the back of the building?
No,
well, he ripped the... Huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He ripped the... I called the insurance company and they said, oh, was the glove compartment locked? And, stupidly, I said no, because it wasn't. And they jumped in with both feet and said, well, we're not paying you a penny because it should have been locked. Who locks their glove box? Really? No one.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to break into the car, it's not exactly Fort Knox, is it? And indeed, the button on my glove box was bust, and so the button's in the ashtray. He didn't look in the ashtray. He just ripped the door off the glove box. So now it's a shelf.
Oh, God.
And it would cost like £250 to get it nailed back on there, so I thought, I'm just going to live with it as a shelf.
Oh, God.
And indeed, back in the old days, the first car that my parents had didn't have a glove box. There were no such things. It only had a shelf, so I'm doing it old school.
But are you going to replace the sat-nav?
No, I refuse to buy another one of those things. I won't do it.
How many have you had?
Well, just one. But that was enough. I've learnt my lesson.
Why don't you buy a smaller one that when you get out of the car you can put it in your bag? Or...
It was the smallest that was available.
So why did you use it in the car?
Because I'm stupid.
Yeah, aren't you?
But he broke in because there were sucker marks on the window. He would have broken in anyway, even if it hadn't been in the glove box.
Oh.
And that's why they call them sucker marks, by the way, because only suckers leave them there.
But can't you get sat-navs now where you can put them on the dashboard and stuff?
Well, doesn't it have to get stuck onto the window?
I don't think so.
Well, how would it stay on the dashboard?
With suckers, I suppose. I don't know.
You're not thinking this through, Mandy.
I am.
I suppose you and your fancy new, Golf, it had it all built in,
It's not
right?
Golf.
Huh?
Polo.
Polo, right. What's the difference between a Polo and a Golf?
Golf's more expensive and faster.
Right.
But it's automatic, because I can only drive automatic.
Well, I can drive a manual, but I absolutely flat out refuse to do it. I won't do it.
I can't. I've only passed on automatic.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous.
So now when I have to have a courtesy car from the garage, it has to be an automatic, so I'm getting a micro in the morning.
Well, that's silly, though, Mandy. Why did you pass on why did you only take a test on an automatic? Nobody does that.
Because I just couldn't do the gears. I couldn't coordinate it.
Well, that's a silly thing to say. Of course you can, dear.
I couldn't, honestly. I couldn't do it. I didn't enjoy driving.
Well, no, I don't enjoy driving a manual because your left leg just gets. I mean, in London, it's change into first, go to second, down to first, into neutral, to first to second, to first to neutral, and your left leg ends up twice the size of your right leg.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Because I don't know about gears.
Yeah, I wouldn't exaggerate to you, Mandy.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
So are you going to get it fixed, or are you just going to leave it?
It's going in tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, we've had that part of the conversation, haven't we? I'm not fixing anything, no cosmetic work will be done on my car from this moment on. Well, I made the mistake of trying to cover up scratches. You know they give you those little pots of paint with a new car?
Yeah.
Don't use them. Throw them in the bin now.
Why?
Because if you get them out, it's basically, they look like nail varnish.
Oh, right.
Little bottles of nail varnish, and it's got a little brush on the inside.
Yeah.
If you try and cover up scratches on your car, it doesn't blend. I mean, I should have realised this before I started. It doesn't go flat in, to blend in with the paintwork.
Well, don't they give you the paint and the lacquer to put over the paint?
Yeah, but the paint dries as a worm, as a paint worm on your car. It doesn't sink in flat. It just stays raised. And so I've got little worms all over my car. So I really can't sell it now, because to spray paint it down would cost more than the actual car is worth. So I'm just going to let it disintegrate.
Oh no! How many of these worms have you got?
Oh, dozens. Because I had
like a puppy dog.
Well, I had a crazy afternoon when I thought, I'm going to fix this now, because they've kind of irritated me for a while. I was in a garage in Glasgow, and as I was filling up with petrol, some local hooligans, they were about 8 years old, were throwing stones at the cars in the garage.
Yeah.
And they hit the roof. And, of course, the roof is connected to the side struts, which goes all the way down to the bottom. So if you get a nick on the roof, you've basically got to paint your entire car bar the boot lid.
Yeah.
And so I thought I'd tackle it by hand.
Oh, God.
That's just don't do
I
it.
presume T-cut didn't help.
Huh?
T-cut?
T-cut?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Have you ever bought that? That normally takes out things like that.
What is it?
It's a polishy thing that you buy in Halfords.
Now you're telling me.
T-cut.
T-cut?
Yeah. It's really good.
Right.
Have you ever had your car keyed? Has anyone ever done that to you?
No, but, like I just said, some kids were throwing stones at cars. Can you imagine such a thing? There's an entire garage worth of cars just casually filling up with petrol, and two 8-year-olds are just lobbing bricks at you.
That's terrible.
And then running away when anybody took exception to it.
Well, get some T-cut, honestly, in Halfords.
Right.
A tube of it or a bottle. It's brilliant stuff.
How does it taste?
Oh, it's delicious.
Is it?
Mm.
Oh,
Just
well.
get it some T-cut and a rag, or whatever. And any marks you've got, it should take them off.
Will it take worms of paint off?
Oh, that I don't know.
No.
But also in Halfords, when you go in there now and show them, they help you. They try and do things for you in there. They're very helpful.
Other car stores are available?
Yes.
All right, well, I wish you well with your car.
Well, how long have we got you this week?
Every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's nice. Is it just this week?
No, from this moment on.
What? What do you mean?
Ian's left.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh. Are you still doing Saturday?
I'm trying not to, because I work every day, and to do 2 shows on one day and work every day of the week on top, I think that would be too much.
Oh no, that would be awful if you weren't on a Saturday.
Well, yeah, I am a bit conflicted about that, because I do enjoy Saturday nights, and I felt that we've built up a special relationship. Not you and me, necessarily.
No.
Well, we have, of course, but, you know, the vast listening audience that's with me on Saturday night.
So Ian left?
Yeah.
Oh dear, I didn't know that.
I'm afraid so.
Why not? I'm much happier with you.
Oh, well, that's nice, Mandy.
I am.
All right, cheers, my dear.
Will you take care?
I'll do that.
And thank you for my song.
Oh, that's okay.
All right, darling.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You almost forget that you're on the radio every now and again, don't you? Just having a little chit-chat. How's your car going, Alex? That giant chrome boat that you wallow around in. It's like driving a whale.
It is.
What car is it?
I hadn't driven it for 2 weeks, and then I took my girlfriend to the station in it the other day, and I've forgotten how enormous it was. It was like steering the Titanic around.
The front is in a different postcode to the back.
Yeah,
It's
I just thought I could
huge.
almost see the front of the car from the driver's seat.
Alex has got a classic car with more chrome on it than your average fare.
It is more fun to stay at home polishing the chrome than driving it.
But you know, if you don't start it up for 2 weeks in a row, that it generally won't start.
No, it doesn't like it. There was blue smoke coming out of the back for a bit, and I thought, ooh, that looks nice.
But isn't it from 1970? Isn't that normal for a 1970 car?
Yeah, it's just oil sitting in the engine for a while.
What car is it?
It's
Don't say it.
No. But yeah, no, it's yeah.
Give your address out, and then we'll invite
Come
the
round and
general
have a
public to come and have a
look.
quick peek. Yeah,
you can all go for a little drive.
You could give them rides. Exactly
Yeah,
right. Wouldn't that be
5p
nice?
a time.
I mean, you could fit 50 people in the back of that car anyway.
Yeah.
It's like a bus. So it's still going. I'm thrilled.
It's still going strong.
Right. And if you get a scratch on that car, would you fix it, or would you just forget it?
It's got a couple of little scratches, but
I think in London you just have to accept that it's
yeah.
going to, whether it's brand new or not, it's going to be ruined. Don't be precious about it.
luckily it's so big, people avoid me.
Great presenters. It's really, really good station.
Yeah.
So, correct me if I've got these statistics wrong. They spent £800 million on zhuzhing up the railway terminal that they're going to be leaving. The high speed trains are going to be leaving from, right? That's what the Queen is at. Is she there now? Probably not.
She's still at the champagne bar. Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, she might be at home watching Liverpool. Did she get? She must have got changed between opening of Parliament and going to, because that would be even for her, that would be a bit too much to go to a train station in £100 million worth of jewels, wouldn't it? She probably nipped home to where you put a cardi on, whatever it is. So £800 million just for the station, £5.8 billion for the rail link to King's Cross. That's the bit between where the current, or the old now, high-speed rail link that goes through Kent ends, and then the high-speed train to get to Waterloo had to sort of meander through the south of London, which is why they're shaving 20 minutes off. So they spent £5.8 billion joining up the two high-speed rail lines between King's Cross and Kent, and £800 million on the shed that they leave from, to shave 20 minutes off the time to Paris.
It's really worth it.
What's the point of that? That's insane.
Well, hey, you get there 20 minutes quicker.
I mean, it's not as though the company's actually making any money, is it? I mean, they'd have to exist from now until the end of time before they make their money back. Isn't that true?
I don't think they're going to be making any money back. I would still prefer to get the plane.
What? No, you wouldn't. Have you ever been on the train?
Plane.
Train. Have you ever been on the train?
I took my car on the train.
Right, well, that's not the same. So you haven't travelled the train as a person, right? It's like flying with all of the annoying things taken out.
Don't you have to check in quite early, though, like a flight?
On the train?
Yeah.
Half an hour.
Oh, okay.
By which they mean you have to be there a half an hour, you have to be through the gates a half an hour before you leave. I left it because I arrived for the train, excuse me, thinking, it's a train. You show up, 10 minutes, you know, you can get on as the doors are closing. Dear. Not the case.
Did you miss it?
Yes, I did.
Did you learn a lesson?
No, I didn't.
You've done it again?
Well, I haven't travelled it again. But it wasn't my fault. See, like everything else in this country, whatever you do, it's not your fault. I was trying to talk to one of their representatives and upgrade myself. Because I wanted to.
They probably purposely went without you.
And because I wanted to, have a sit down, like the world's most expensive meal on a plastic tray. Actually, it was very nice. It was surprisingly good. But they couldn't do it because I was already running late, and the people behind me were tutting, and she couldn't figure it out because the machine wasn't letting her upgrade me because the train was close to closing it.
What did you say to get upgrade? Can I have an upgrade, please?
Yeah. Well, you had to pay for it. I mean, it's not like on a plane where you ask for one really nicely and they'll say no. Mm-hmm. No, you pay for it and they'll do it.
Okay. I've never asked for an upgrade on a plane or train or anything.
I have. But like I say, you pay for it on the train. They don't give it to you out of the goodness of their heart. You pay twice the price.
And what do you get extra for it?
A slightly larger chair, I think, slightly fewer people surrounding you, and less screaming kids and
but how many people are going to be on that train anyway? It's not like the Central Line, is it?
They can be absolutely rammed.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I went to Paris during the rugby tournament, and there was barely... I expected there to be barely a seat, and I thought I'll have to get upgraded because the economy will be awash with drunken rugby fans.
On to the outside.
Yeah. I thought it would be a nightmare on a stick in there. So in order to, protect my delicate person from, carousing and whatever it is they get up to, I'll have to go up the front. And it was a delight.
How many people were in the carriage with you?
Hardly any. And you get to drink and eat and snooze, and it was,
and how much
actually
extra
very
do you
good.
have to pay for that?
It's about double. I mean, it's an outrageously large amount.
It's quite a lot.
It is. Well, it's already much more expensive than flying as it is. But because they, I was going to say because they delayed me to the point that I missed my train, they gave me a free upgrade. But that's not why they did it.
You should try and do that next time as well.
They gave me a free upgrade because I went nuclear. I was standing on the platform in Waterloo, shouting to myself more than anybody else. Yes.
Come back!
I actually lost it, and so they introduced me to
a
senior customer representative
who arrested you.
Who said that they were going to upgrade me. And as soon as I was introduced to him, I thought, now, I won't say anything. I won't ask to be upgraded, because that's a bit cheap. Just because you made me miss the train and I have to stand here for an hour. I'll expect it of you and be warmly rewarded if you do it. Or I'll go double nuclear if you don't. But
so how do you get them to do it without
without
asking
won't say anything. Well, that's just good customer service. They made me miss my train. So they should upgrade me, because I was trying to upgrade anyway, right?
How long before the train departed were you trying to upgrade?
Well, I guess I had about 5 minutes.
Oh, Nick.
Well, what's wrong with that? That's 5 minutes.
Of course you're going to miss the train.
But in nowhere on the tickets did I read, but then I don't actually read the... when you're booking things online, they say, tick here if you've read the terms and conditions.
Yeah,
Who actually reads
them?
Really, you just tick, don't you? Nowhere did I read that you have to be through the gates at least 10 or 15 minutes before the train is supposed to leave. And so I just thought, you buy a ticket, you walk on, that's it. But no, of course there's like airline security, and you have to go and sit in a plastic chair and...
Take your shoes off.
Yeah, all of that. But no, it's actually much, much nicer than flying, because there's also not that part of your brain that's thinking... I'm going to die.
Oh, no.
Much less so on a train.
You're going to drown on that train.
I quite like that I'm going to die bit, though.
What?
Yeah, it's a bit of excitement.
My God, you two are nutters.
What?
Yes, a bit of excitement.
Yeah, a bit of adrenaline.
Thinking you're going to die is exciting.
Thinking of what could go wrong.
Oh my goodness.
Planning my escape route should
well, I suppose that's actually quite right, yeah, because people do put themselves into safe forms of danger in order to get a cheap thrill.
But if you're stuck under the channel, there is no way out. There's no escape route unless you're a bloody good swimmer.
Unless you're stuck under the channel? Under what circumstances would that happen?
Well, if you're on the train going to France...
Yes.
And it breaks down.
And then you're going to have
and
to
then
swim.
there's a huge leak.
Right. And then if an atomic bomb goes off in London and Paris, then you've got nowhere to go. Yeah, you're
But
absolutely
hey,
right.
Alex, what an excitement.
But no, roller coaster rides are just exactly what you've said. We put ourselves in danger, but safely, in order to get the thrill of being chased by a lion, presumably. It's that sort of a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, once we've taken off, I'm a little bit bored after that bit. I'm waiting for landing.
Right.
Have you ever done a parachute jump?
No, because I'm a real
You're not
coward.
You're not that much of a nutter. No. You're not a Pepsi Max kind of guy.
No.
Stockport. Hello, George.
That lady that rang up about the car,
Yeah.
the Polo, didn't she have the Polo with the hole in it?
George, you've been on the line for 30 minutes. Is that really what you called
Yeah,
for?
well, it struck me that I thought it was meant that she had the Polo with the hole in it.
Right.
I called you about Finland.
Yeah.
4 facts I remember from school.
Okay, fact 1.
Reindeer. Famous for its reindeer.
Is it?
Yep.
I thought Lapland was reindeer.
Lapland covers 1/3 of Finland.
Lapland's not a country, is it?
No. It's an area.
Right.
It covers Norway, Sweden and Finland. 1/3 of Finland is Lapland.
Huh.
So it's famous for its giant Christmas trees, and as you say, Lapland.
I thought that was Norway.
No. Norway's Lapland lies across the northern part of Norway, Sweden, and Finland.
Okay. So they've got reindeer and trees.
Yes, and Lapland Father Christmas, where the people send kids go to see.
Right. Father Christmas doesn't come from Finland.
No, he comes from Lapland.
Which is, as we've previously learnt, part of Finland.
Yes.
Okay. You've got 1 fact to go.
Well, those are the 4 facts: reindeer, Christmas, giant Christmas trees, Father Christmas, and Lapland.
Oh, Lapland was one of the facts?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thanks a lot, George.
Okay, bye.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da. It's like an education, this show, ain't it?
No.
Do you think he's ready yet? Or is it a bit too early? Let's not surprise him, eh?
You can ask him.
All right. Yeah, all right. Be polite.
He says yes.
That seems to take forever. Silence on the radio. It's just an echoing cavern that you fall into as soon as somebody stops speaking. Yes, you say. Well, let's do it right now then. It's 8:45, or as near as makes no difference. Here's Alan Joyce with the travel.
Thanks, Nick. We're looking at delays around us.
Enjoy working with people.
Talking about Santas, by the way, they're far too fat. I thought the whole point of Santa was that he is fat and jolly. I mean, the very word jolly implies fat, right?
A slim Santa wouldn't work.
Wouldn't work at all.
No.
A shopping centre has ordered Santas to slim down before they're allowed to greet any children. Oh, blimey, I bet it's a health and safety thing.
In case they sit on the kids.
Blue Water in Kent, for it is they, is sending its portly Father Christmases on a month-long boot camp organised by a trainer called Cornell Chin.
Why don't they just...
What's funny about that?
Why don't they just employ thin Santas to start
Well,
with?
that'd be a good idea, yeah. I mean, if you were going to a shop to be a Santa, would you put up with being sent to a boot camp for a month?
No, don't they get... I mean, you're not in work for that long.
It's not
No,
that
it's a
much.
month's
Sure they don't
training for like 2 weeks of job.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't get paid much.
This Cornell Chin, by the way, has clients including Leonardo DiCaprio and Colin Firth. He ain't just,
A silly name.
The spokesman said, as Santa is a role model to thousands of children, we want to make him a responsible icon.
What?
I don't
How
know you can get an A-level in Santa
ridiculous.
studies now.
That is just... where do you even begin? Santa has to be fat. That's the whole point of Santa. I mean, Santa's Coca-Cola, right?
Hmm. Yeah, he's a jolly, rotund fella,
And
isn't he?
isn't it right that fructose, which is in the fizzy drinks that...
Isn't that shampoo? Seriously, it is.
Fructose? Don't be daft, lass.
It's in a green bottle.
Fructose.
Yes, I'll look it up now.
Isn't it true that fructose is what's making everybody fat? It's not the actual because fructose is just sugar, right? It's a particular type of sugar.
Yeah.
And that's fructis.
Oh. Almost. You could see how I could get confused there.
But I'm glad that you stopped my train of thought.
Fructose making people fat.
It is. It's not the calories in the fructose itself. Apparently they change the way your body deals with the other rubbish that you eat, chips and burgers and all of that good stuff, to make your body retain it. So that it's not so much the food itself that people are eating, it's in combination with fizzy drinks. That's the thing that's killing us all. Or at least I read that a long time ago, and then never since. So I might have just imagined it. Yeah, I might have been on one of those soft drink benders, and I've lost my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, in much the same way that Paul Gascoigne isn't. Sozzled Paul Gascoigne was stopped from boarding a packed plane to Britain after being drunk and abusive at check-in. That's hard to believe, isn't it? The ex-England star was turned away at Malta International Airport following a booze bender lasting more than 15 hours. Gaza was on the Mediterranean island for a former international legends game between England and Italy. But when the 5-day trip ended, and he arrived at the airport in Valletta for his afternoon flight to London, staff became concerned. A check-in attendant called the supervisor, and he decided that Gaza was not fit to board. A source said, as you can imagine, a row erupted as he started arguing about the decision and started shouting abusive remarks. I find that hard to believe. Gaza seems such a nice man.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a football match with old fat footballers. All the ones that've got fat now, like Maradona and Gaza. Is Gaza fat
now? That would be a
sight.
sight.
I think Gaza's always been a bit fat, hasn't he?
He was porky-ish, wasn't he? He was, stout.
Rotund. He did score my favourite goal of all time, and that was at, I think it was Wembley against Scotland. He was...
Over his flip backwards or something, was that one?
He receives the ball on the left-hand side of the penalty area, chips over the last defender, runs around him, and scores on a volley into the right-hand side of the net. And then did the very famous goal celebration where he, because they'd previously been taken to task in the press about the dentist's chair. Do you remember that? Where you, in a bar, you sat in a chair and they poured spirits down your mouth as part of some sort of initiation rite, or, all lads together, some daft thing like that. And so he laid down, and they squirted a water bottle in his mouth in the same way as he'd received spirits.
Oh.
My favourite goal of all time. Doesn't excuse any of that behaviour, but that would be entertaining. Yeah, you're absolutely right. See a lot of fat guys just waddling about. Well, that just sounds like it's a knockout.
Or a five-a-side, your local park on a Saturday.
Yeah, true enough. Mitcham, hello, Don.
Hello, Nick. I was just remarks that Steve Allen passed this morning. You can't talk to Steve, as you know. He won't take phone calls. But he was having a go at your colleague Carol McGiffin on Loose Women yesterday for wearing her poppy incorrectly.
Incorrectly?
Yep. Now, apparently you're supposed to wear your poppy with the leaf upwards at 11 o'clock, signifying the 11th day of the 11th hour. Now, if Steve had been watching the debate in the House of Commons this afternoon following the Queen's speech, he would have noticed that apart from Carol on Loose Women yesterday, the Prime Minister Gordon Brown, the Leader of the Opposition Douglas Cameron, the Deputy Leader of the Lib Democrat Party, and 2/3 of the members of the House of Commons were all wearing their poppies incorrectly. So tell Steve to belt up over little silly irregularities.
Okay, Don.
Have me say it.
All right. Thanks a lot, mate.
Thank you. Bye.
Calm down. That's the first I've heard. I mean, I know that the poppies come with extra added value now. They come with a leaf, What's it going to be next year? 2 leaves, or a double-headed poppy, or 2 extra petals, or something.
A whole
There
field.
had to be some way of showing that you care even more than you did last year. But presumably, one of the reasons they do it is so that people can't use their poppy that they bought last year. Would anybody actually do that?
Probably.
Because they change red noses for that reason, don't they?
Yeah,
so
so
that people
you're-
will go out and buy them all over again.
You're shown to be tight.
Yeah.
If you've got last year's. of it.
I haven't actually seen anybody selling poppies yet. So do they all come with
Oh,
leaves?
they're at Liverpool Street.
Do they all come with leaves this year? Or can you get them
I haven't bought one yet,
naked?
do you know?
I've seen a couple sellers, but I didn't pay enough attention to the
Well,
design of the poppy.
I had no idea that you had to put the leaf at 11 o'clock. Is that true?
I think that's made up.
It does seem a bit...
What do they do before the leaf?
There was no leaf. There used to just be...
Poppy?
Yeah.
So there's nothing to put at 11 o'clock?
No.
Hmm.
What will it be next?
I just said that. I just went through a list of the things that it might be next. Yes.
Nice little pot, maybe?
A pot plant?
Yeah.
An actual real poppy?
Yeah, you have to
adopt a field in
stick it.
Flanders.
Yeah.
Were you outside today? I mean, you were talking yesterday about how sad you are. That's what everybody says
I'm in
about
this
you.
building for 9 hours
Yeah.
a day, that's what...
Simply everyone says that about you. You
I
are
know.
so sad.
I know, they say, what's wrong with him?
You got sick building syndrome, but it was an absolute delight outside today.
I missed it all.
I went outside for an hour. Am I tanned yet?
Very.
That's a no, isn't it?
Yes.
But if you see the sun any time around about now, rush outside and get all you can because it's about to get much, much worse. Have you read that there are storms on the way?
Oh, they always say this.
How they would know this, I have absolutely no idea. Because as I've said many times before, the people who do the weather can't tell you what it's like right now.
I don't mind storms, though, if they're proper storms.
These are going to be, they're saying that they're going to be massive, vicious storms yet.
Ooh, excellent.
Are set to batter Britain's coastline as a month of freak weather kicks off this weekend.
Oh, great.
How do they know that?
No, I think
I mean, it's
they're
such an
guessing and then they
inexact-
hope for the best.
Meteorology is an inexact science. They're just... guessing is exactly right. Yeah, they've got no idea. Just making it up. The UK has been confident that no one really believes them anyway. Because you don't determine how you're going to dress for the day by the silly woman on the television who tells you, oh, it's going to be quite nappy out. Wear a coat today. That sort of childish way that she's got of delivering. They really have to adult up their news programme in the morning. It's just become
How should they do it?
juvenile. I don't know, just tell us what the weather is and we'll decide whether we want to wear a coat or not. Oh, you must really wrap up warm, like she's your auntie.
So they go off to school.
Yeah, it's just daft. Didn't forget your hat and your coat. It's just...
That was a very good accent.
It's so infantile the way she does it. It's like, I mean, she does it from the Blue Peter Garden, and it's as though she's auditioning for a part on that programme. She's talking to prepubescents, 5-year-olds. Did I forget your scarf? It's just so silly. And she's always wrong. The UK has been warned to batten down the hatches with raging winds of up to, guess how much? That's right, 100 miles an hour. Your car won't even do that fast.
Well, at least I know it won't leave the ground.
Yeah, true enough. It's expected to sweep in and breach sea defences if you're living around those parts. And we are actually never more than 70 miles away from the sea. Which is quite a statistic when you think of the last time that you were at the sea. Which was like never. Right? When was the last time you went to the coast?
About 2 weekends ago.
Like I said, you always go. Why wouldn't you? It's only 70 miles away. Experts say, that there will be 2 major surges of severe hurricane winds, including tornadoes. What's the difference between a hurricane and a tornado? Oh, tornadoes are swirly things, right? And hurricanes are just
high
wind. Yeah. These storms will be followed by a sharp drop in temperature.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Making an end to the mild autumn, because it has been a delight. Oh, that's another thing, is that all the leaves are going to go. Because it's been a particularly colourful season so far. So this weekend, they'll all be gone.
Blown away.
Yeah, isn't that upsetting?
Yeah, I was driving down here, towards here yesterday, and I was coming through a really particularly leafy, posh street, and all the leaves were fluttering down from the trees, and it was really
catching
nice.
the sunlight, and
and then obscuring my vision as I piled into a parked car.
It wasn't you
But
that
at least
drove
you had
into that
an
woman's car.
At least you had an
Sainsbury's.
excuse.
Yes.
No, it's and then when the leaves are off the trees, then there's no light in our lives, and it's just all downhill from now.
It just goes a bit grey then, doesn't it?
It's just a misery
Miserable.
from now until August.
Oh, great.
The first severely damaging onslaught is due this weekend. Biting north winds head towards us. Storms are going to lash the coast and sea defences will be breached. A second wave of bad weather will hit later this month, specifically the 24th of November. Mark it down in your diary.
Yeah.
So, why do they have a Hitachi bullet train? Isn't that the Japanese train, which goes about 3 times as fast as our own weak effort?
Yeah. Why is it the Japanese can do that so much better?
I have
than
no
us?
idea. They seem to be able to do everything better than us.
I know, and smaller.
Well, I was going to say that. Apart from, what do they call them? Brixton briefcases. Those, what do they call them?
I don't know.
Yeah, the boom boxes.
Oh, ghetto blasters.
Well, yeah, what's the proper word for them?
I don't know.
I mean, as a middle-aged white person, you can't go into carriage and ask for a boom box, can you? You look like a fool.
A portable stereo.
Yes, exactly right. Portable stereo.
Portable radio cassette recorder.
They get ever larger. Everything else, much, much smaller.
Mm. Is that because ghetto blasters are in fashion again? Because they're retro?
Are they?
Yeah. Because that was the thing. It was the biggest boom box you could carry on your shoulder.
Yeah.
So.
How ludicrous. I mean, people actually used to do that.
Uh-huh.
Carrying your stereo around.
Mm-hmm. And then you could, break out some beats in the
and annoy
get down
everyone.
Yeah. Basically.
Well, in New York, when they had, last time I was there, it was a very long time ago, and they had, in Central Park, they had people who skate around and around and around. You wear these ridiculous costumes, and they just go skating around and around. And everyone's got these boom boxes all lined up all the way around, and they're all tuned to a radio station.
Yeah.
The same one. Kiss FM or whatever it. And as soon as they go to commercials, or the DJ speaks, which is about once every 40 minutes, there's an ecstasy of fumbling as everyone starts to dial around to see if they can get something else, and then they shout, and someone finds something, they shout out the frequency, and then everyone tunes in. It's
for a moment you just get
yeah. But that doesn't seem to make any sense to me. Why is there a Japanese train pulling into King's Cross? We can't go to Japan on a train. We can only go to to Paris and the world's second most boring capital city, Belgium.
Is it just to make it look futuristic?
I suppose so.
Futuristic than...
But that's showing us up, though, because I'm sure that the bullet train is much more
how did they get the bullet
fast
train
forward than... they flew it here. I don't know. That's not saving the planet.
No.
I did actually investigate the possibility of going by train to Amsterdam, because I thought that would be, a delightful way to go. And to go there first class, I figured out was something like £900.
There is something that feels less stressful about knowing that you're going overland or staying on land rather than flying.
Yeah, completely.
I don't know what that is.
Well, it's the you won't be smashing into any mountains. You'll more or less keep to the train tracks.
Yeah, but it just seems inherently less stressful just to get on something that's already on the ground and that stays on the ground.
So it stays there, yes.
Even if it takes a bit longer.
Although I did feel a little stressed as the train started ratcheting up the speed once it got through the tunnel onto the other side, because it doesn't seem to go through the tunnel very quickly. In fact, it seems to crawl through. You don't get a sense of how fast you're going in the tunnel itself. But when you pop out the other side, you're going surprisingly slowly. I thought the whole point of the tunnel was that you could go really quickly.
Is it like the district line where you see people walking past you quicker in the tunnel?
Yes. But once it starts to ratchet up the speed, thanks. Lovely cup of tea. You put a coat on to go and make the tea. Oh, you had to sit in there? You need a coat. Oh, right. Where was I?
Trains coming out of the tunnel on the French side.
Yes, once they start to ratchet up the speed, I was a little bit concerned. I mean, I'm a bit of a baby like that. Once, if you're on a roller coaster, and or one of those, like a thing at a fair that goes around and around and around, and it'll start up and go a little bit quickly, and think, oh, I can cope with this, but just, and then they'll say, does anybody want to go any faster? Yeah. And they go, woo! And I'm thinking, no! I was a bit like that.
Secretly,
yeah, I was
enjoying it.
I was gripping the armrest, thinking, please don't go any faster. Fortunately, they give you a lot of free booze, so it's... I didn't care after a while. Let's have, Richmond. Oh, Barry.
Hello.
Barry.
How are you?
Good,
about
thanks.
poppies. Really?
Poppies.
Yeah. They used to be, well, I work on Richmond Hill, and it's just down the road from me, the factory. One way or another, it used to be either with or without. One was made by disabled soldiers, and then one was made by able-bodied soldiers.
So one was with a leaf.
Well, I'm not too sure which way it was. I would imagine it was the single poppy was the made by disabled. Well, I'm not too sure. But I know either way is right.
Right.
No?
Either way is right.
Well, yes. It's either with or without. One of them is used to be for able-bodied, and one of them used to be for disabled soldiers.
Right.
Made by disabled soldiers, because they're all made by ex-soldiers.
Right. Okay, well, you've certainly cleared that up for us, Barry.
Really? Do you reckon? I'll tell you what, the thing about coming out of a tunnel,
Yes.
sensory deprivation always makes everything seem faster.
Sensory deprivation always makes everything seem
You're in a
faster.
tunnel.
Yeah.
You only feel the sensation of going...
Right, exactly right, yes. You feel that you're going really quickly and are surprised at how slowly you're going when you emerge on the other
I'm
side.
just a butcher, can you imagine?
And the what?
I'm just a butcher, can you imagine if I had a really important job?
Now you've lost me again. I was with you, and now we've parted, like,
Bye.
non-parallel lines. Cheers, Barry. Sometimes things just happen and they just plain stop your brain. I'm sure I was going to say something, but I can't remember what it is now. But at least they've got the world's longest champagne bar.
So you can be completely ratted when you roll on the train.
Well, I'm sure it's very nice. However, you'd be drinking champagne at a railway station. Who wants to do that?
It's romantic.
What?
Isn't it, with that...
Only in a black and white movie is it
stunning
romantic.
arched roof. I mean, I'm going to go out along and have a look. Soon.
What, just a look?
Yeah.
Quick peek.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the hotel
nice.
above it opening.
Oh,
Because I had a tour around that when it was still a dripping shell.
Mm.
And it's quite a magnificent building. But it doesn't have any bathrooms in any of the rooms, which is one of the reasons that it closed down, I believe, because...
Like communal bathrooms?
I'm not sure that they... I suppose they would have to have had some sort of washing facilities, yeah, but not actually, not en suite.
Right.
Why is there only a French word for that?
I don't know.
No idea.
Because it sounds good.
I suppose so.
And it's describing a, toilet and bathroom.
And we don't wish to speak about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a French thing, isn't it, washing?
Makes it sound... makes it sound posher.
Like you'd find a bidet in there, perhaps. And there's no English word for that, either.
No.
Because we don't have them, really.
No.
So we just haven't bothered to come up with a word.
I nailed one to the wall of my last flat.
Oh yeah, I forgot you like the B-Day.
Did you actually use it? Because loads of people have them but never use them.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
I just think it's a strange thing to do.
Now, the French people, on the other hand, would think that it's a disgusting thing for us not to do it.
True.
But that's not why we came here today to discuss that.
But don't some French people have a reputation for not washing?
No, well, if you ask French people about that, they'll say that that's us, that is. I mean, the British people, until very recently, thought that having one bath per week was perfectly sufficient. That bath would be a freestanding bath in the front room before the fire. And it would be the same water for every member of the family. That's us, that is. I mean, the British hygiene standards is an international joke.
Yeah,
much like our teeth.
Yeah, our teeth really let us down. I noticed that after living in America. I mean, not...
Yeah, but Americans have all fake teeth.
Well, they don't.
Well, they don't. They have them done.
But yeah, but the state of our teeth, you could always spot an English person for their teeth, and I thought, how embarrassing is that? You know, we're supposed to be European and, you know, see ourselves as more cultured.
And with it.
Yeah, and then we open our mouths.
and it looks like a disused cemetery.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's true. Here is Pimlico. Hello, Bob.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
All right, thanks.
I would like to tell you about the bullet train, if that's all right, the Japanese one.
Oh, yeah.
That's to take visitors to the new Olympic Stadium when that's built. It's going to run from St Pancras to Stratford.
Is that right?
In about 15 minutes journey or so.
You could walk it in about 15 minutes, couldn't you? Why do we need a bullet train?
I don't know, just to show off a bit.
Right, that must be it. Huh.
First class ticket to Amsterdam, you can get it for 180 quid.
On the train?
On the train, if you book well in advance, because I go to The Hague a lot, and it's the same fare to any station in Holland. 180 quid from London, first class. As long as you book well in advance, mate.
One way?
No, that's return.
Are you sure?
Yeah, if you book well in advance.
Okay.
But yeah, the only bad thing about it, you have to have a bit of a walk when you're in Brussels, because the platforms are up the other end from the Eurostar, but it's worth it.
Well, you sound like a man who knows a lot more about this
I've
than
got
me.
a Dutch family, so I have to go there, like.
Okay, all right, thanks, Bob.
Cheers, Nick.
Cheers, mate. Ta-ta. It's 9:15. Here's Travel Now with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick, and some better...
Hi, honey. How are you?
Hi, Roger. How are you?
Hi, mate. How you doing, Nick?
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I like to complain about wear poppies. They wear them on the wrong side. Some I've seen, well, not all of them. I've seen a few presenters on the television. They wear them on the left-hand side. Women should wear them on the right-hand side.
Why?
Good question. I haven't got a clue. I was told once. I forget what it is, but...
Oh, but you'd like to complain anyway?
No, not complain, but...
Well, your words, mate.
Yeah, I know, it was my words, mate. Yeah. No, I was told years ago, I'm an ex-soldier, and...
And women have to wear it on the right?
On the right-hand side, yeah. Men wear them on the left. Something to do with the First World War or something. I was told years ago, but I'm getting on a bit now. I'm 21.
You're 21?
I'm 21 and my brain's sort of dying, but...
Well, I know, yeah.
I just wondered if any other callers would remember that, or the reason why.
Well, all right, well, throw it out there, see what we get.
And the other thing is, why the hell did we spend all that money on that poxy bloody train station?
Well, poxy...
sorry, that rubbish train station.
Right.
You won't use it.
I might.
Huh?
Me and Alex, we're going to go over and have some champagne after the show. Can't wait.
What, in the longest... Yeah, how much is that going to cost you? Probably cost you more for a bottle of champagne than what it will for a ticket.
Well, I'm not paying, mate. It's, I think it's Alex's shout. Anyway, we'll definitely look into that. Thanks a lot, Roger.
Okay, mate, thank you.
So you've got to... This is becoming complicated. So, first of all, you have to find someone that's selling one. Then you have to put the leaf at 11 o'clock, and then you have to figure out whether you're a man or a woman and wear it on the side accordingly. And the thing about all of this that strikes me every year is, why are these people having to go to charity in order to get money to survive? Now, this is about to become deeply serious, so I'll skate over it. But I think that it shames the nation that these people who've gone to war in our name, who are, by definition, doing the most dangerous job that has ever existed, are, when they come back, forced to beg for small change, please, which is essentially what this is. Charity. Don't you think that that's absolutely mind-bogglingly shocking?
No.
No?
Well, they don't have to do it, do they? They choose to.
Here's the Roman Catholic bishop to the military has attacked the government for failing to upgrade the appalling living conditions of troops and their families. The bishop of the forces is demanding that money is provided immediately to raise the quality of military housing. And it seems like the Sun, at least, has been going on about this for months, and it doesn't look as though anything is being done, because on a weekly basis they're coming up with stories like this. I mean, how long does it take? He's also criticised the long-term care of those wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan, claiming that soldiers maimed or traumatised by conflict are often neglected, and stories like that come up on a weekly basis as well. In a letter to all Catholic military personnel and their families to mark Remembrance Sunday this weekend, he told the government that doing the minimum was not sufficient. Military housing has been described as disgraceful by a committee of MPs and frankly shaming by General Mike Jackson, the former head of the army. Bishop Burns said the government should also do more to look after war veterans. Few ever return from war unmarked. The experience returns with them to trouble them. The Ministry of Defence responded by saying, oh no, it's not, more or less, which is their stock response to everything. They said that they took the issue of housing very seriously. Well, that's an interesting use of the phrase very seriously, and one I'm not familiar with. We'll look that up. See if you can Google the phrase very seriously, see what it means. But it seems incredible to me that they should have to turn to charity for their needs, go begging after all that they've been through in our name. Yeah, I mean, of all the people that we are beholden to, these people we should be taking care of without limit, shouldn't we? Not penny pinching and seeing how much we can save by only giving them 50 grand if they've lost their legs, and just ignoring them if they don't fill the forms out right, and just hoping that it's all going to go away. Don't join the armed forces. They don't care about you. Join a supermarket. They won't care about you either. You're unlikely to get shot at work. Unless you work in Hackney. Hey, you know that beer is as good as water if you, when you're exercising in the gym? Everyone carries around bottles of water to hydrate themselves. And now they've got, now they have water that is specially manufactured for its hydration potential. Now, you thought that water is about as much like water as water could be, but now they have special water with, as far as I can tell, nothing actually in it. It's just extra hydrating water. Yours at only 3 times the price. And worse, I saw the other day, there's a cola product that now comes with added vitamins. Or added antioxidants. Cola. Don't you find that shocking? I did when I saw it. I couldn't believe it. Of all the things that you want, that you think that would have added extra vitamins in it, cola is about the bottom of the list. I mean, when you think health drink, cola is not right up there, is it, really?
I think they're trying to push more people to buy it.
That just smacks of desperation to me. I mean, who needs vitamins in cola? Really, if you're not eating enough proper food to get your vitamins, to think that you can get a catch-up by drinking some cola, that's just plain
I think that's
daft.
Is that for kids so they can go, Mum, look, if I drink that, I'm getting my
$5 a day.
Yeah.
No, this is actually quite good news. A beer after playing a game of football, a long run, or a strenuous round of golf. Oh, come off it. There's no such thing as a strenuous round of golf. Look at the people who play it.
Like you.
Yeah, very occasionally. But the one thing about golf that I really dislike, apart from my inability to play it well, are the other people that play it. I think golf people, there's just something actually quite wrong with them. In general.
How do these... I don't get how they have so much time on their hands as well to play that.
Well, they're usually retired.
Right, okay. Well, I'll shut up.
But they seem to be obsessed with rules. Down to...
Like
most people that play weird games like that are.
Really?
Yeah.
But not rules to the point that you can't walk around with your shirt untucked.
Oh, okay.
And you must wear a belt. And if you're going to wear shorts, they must be tailored, not just shorts. I mean, just silly rules like that. I mean, just obsessing, ludicrous. It's the kind of rules that you'd expect if you went to dinner at the Ritz. They would look you up and down and see if you were wearing a jacket and a tie. It's like that. Which I think, that's just daft. For what possible purpose would they insist that you tuck your shirt in?
So do you have to get all dressed up when you play it?
Well, essentially, yes, you do. You can't just go as you are. You have to check yourself up and down, and you can't walk around in a T-shirt.
And what would happen if you turned up in shorts? And
well, they wouldn't let you on. The shirt has to have a collar.
No.
That's just crazy, isn't it?
Isn't that because it's, you know, it started off as a kind of, was it a royal sport? Or upper class sport, so those traditions are just kind of filtered down and stayed with the game.
Well, I suppose so, but tradition's one thing. Rules written down in a rule book, that's another. To say that you can't have your shirt untucked, I mean, that's just, I can't get over that.
So what happens if you're halfway around the course, say you're playing a game, you're halfway around the course, and you look round and you check, and you untuck your shirt, and you go, ooh, have a bit of that then. And then some guy runs out from under a bunker and finds you.
Well, you would certainly get tutted at.
Yeah.
People would, and people have no compunction against coming up and telling you that you're doing the wrong thing. In fact, they seem to look forward to it. That's
a bit sad.
That's part of the enjoyment of the game, is to tick people off for not following the rules.
Maybe that's what happens once you retire.
Right, quite possibly, yes. Because you don't have any other rules in your life, because you're not working anymore, so you don't have to follow those rules. Yeah.
That's why people go on local councils and things once they retire, isn't it?
Right.
Because they haven't got work anymore, and they need to.
They have no structure in their life.
Yeah,
right.
They need to be interfering in something.
Yes, well, that's probably exactly what that is. Yeah, a neighbourhood watch is exactly what that is. I mean, I very much doubt that any neighbourhood with a neighbourhood watch sticker is any safer than one without. Because isn't it just curtain twitching? It's making sure that you know
just
what
give a posh name to
everyone else is doing. Anyway, this has nothing to do with what we were talking about. A beer after playing a game of football, a long run, or presumably going to the gym, is as good for you as water.
Apparently so.
That doesn't feel logical.
I couldn't imagine seeing a bloke in the gym doing loads of weights and running with a pint of beer in his hand.
And a fag. Professor Manuel of Granada University said beer can help a dehydrated person retain liquid better than water. He also claimed that the bubbles in beer help to quench the thirst, and the carbohydrate content can replace lost calories.
Why would you want to put the calories back on that you've lost?
Well, you have to.
Isn't that the whole point of going to the gym, to burn off some calories?
Well, then you would feel faint.
Well, yeah, but you don't go to the gym for hours.
I don't know. Some people seem to spend their entire lives in there. You go in and they're there.
Some people in my gym,
you do your bit and you leave and they're still there. They never seem to leave.
There's one woman in my gym that goes there for 4 hours a day.
Well, that speaks of a shallow and wasted life to me.
Righty then.
Barnet, hello, Mirelle.
Hello, Nick. How you doing?
All right, thanks.
Good. I walked in the door about 9:30 tonight, and I heard you saying you were having problems locating a poppy seller. Is that right?
Well, no, not really.
Oh, I thought you were saying that there are people doing the poppying, And most of the supermarkets have, you know, the poppy boxes.
Yeah, I haven't been out much lately.
Oh, you need to get out more, Nick. This is the thing. Because, yeah, they're everywhere.
I'd actually be quite happy never to leave the flat.
I think that's very sad for a young man.
Ever.
To never leave the flat.
Well, it's everything I want is there.
But life's outside. 4 walls is just 4 walls with a telly and a bed.
Yeah.
But, you know, talking to people and socialising with people and mixing... Do you know... You presenters make me die because you talk for a living and yet you hate people.
Yeah, we. That's pretty much right.
All of you do.
Yeah, I think that's... Well, radio people are weird. This is what you have to understand, that, DJs... Hey! DJs! DJs are very weird because of what they do. Is so odd. I mean, just think of what a DJ does. He sits in a tiny, brown booth and talks to a great furry, thing, this.
Yes.
And introduces records that he hasn't chosen, and has to be excited about everything. Okay, like that. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, if you spoke like that in real life, people would, well, they'd hit you.
But what about the talk presenters?
Well, talk presenters, you see, men don't speak very much. When I'm not on the air, I hardly say a word, like, ever. You know, when I just do one talk show on a Saturday, I could go an entire week without uttering a sentence. But when you come on the air, suddenly I could talk for Britain.
Yeah, I must admit, it must be strange sitting in a room and talking to dozens of people you've never met before.
No.
Voices on in your ear, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be very, very strange.
And hence, very strange people do it.
And very strange people ring up. There, I said it for you, Nick.
Well, yeah, that's very true. I wasn't going to say that, but... Yes.
No, you see, if I say it, then I can get in first. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you were saying that you were looking and you couldn't find anybody selling.
No, I'm sure that when I come to buy one on... well, I suppose now's the time to buy one, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's the Sunday's Remembrance Sunday.
This Sunday. And I always find that extremely moving. I mean, I always like to be in front of the TV. Well, I always like to be in front of the TV, but a full stop right there. But at 11 o'clock, I'd like to stop whatever I'm doing, and I know it's just a picture of people standing there.
Oh, yes.
But I like to see it at the Cenotaph. I like to actually see it. And I always am extremely moved by silence. Well, and usually start, well, not blubbing exactly, but, you know, feeling a bit teary.
Well, then it's done its job, isn't it? Because you're remembering people that have died in past conflict.
Well, I'm not really, because I'm not remembering any of them, because I don't actually know any of them.
No,
but,
I know.
It's just the whole thing of it's just very moving.
Maybe you're just one of these modern men that likes crying.
I'll cry at anything.
There you go.
Absolutely anything.
There you go. Oh, well, I'm sorry I got the wrong side of the stick.
No, that's all right. Have you bought yours yet?
I'm selling. I just came in from Poppy and
right.
That's what I was going to say, so I'm selling them. So I know there's people out there and I'm everywhere.
And are they all with leaves this year?
The ones that I'm selling are, yeah.
Right.
They're all with leaves and they're with pins, although somebody told me after I'd done about my 500th poppy that according to health and safety I'm not meant to pin them on. Well, nobody told me.
I knew you were going to say something about
I've been pinning them on left, right and centre. So, and I, you know, somebody said to me, you meant to be doing that, and I sort of stopped halfway and I thought, and the reason that I shouldn't be. And they said, oh, didn't you hear about health and safety? And I was like, oops, bit late now.
You want to put a cone next to those pins. Very dangerous, Morel.
It's very dangerous. If I, you know, should hit an artery with a pin,
yeah.
You know, then the
Why are you pinning them on, by the way?
Because I'm a friendly person.
Right.
That's all there is, and I
don't people I bet there's a part of the people that object to you invading their space.
No, because you ask first. It's called socialising. You say to people, thank you very much.
Really?
Would you like me to pin it on for you? And if they say no, you hand them the poppy. But 99.9% of people say yes.
Socialising, you say?
It's being sociable.
Right, that sounds like too much effort.
Oh, Nick. Can I say a serious point quickly?
Go on then.
If anybody wants to volunteer to be a poppy collector, either this year, I don't know if it might be a little bit late for this year, because bearing in mind it's on Sunday, but next year, if they can contact their local British Legion, they'd be more than happy for you to collect on behalf of them, because they're always looking for people
to
actually go out, and it's very rewarding, and I've had my hand kissed.
Oh.
I'm a romantic. And people are generally nice, really generous.
Good.
And, yeah, nice people, despite what Nick was saying this morning, the other Nick. people aren't buying. I'm having no problems. You know, I'm getting poppy queues.
I'm seeing more this year than I can remember before.
What, as in more poppies or more
Yeah.
poppy sellers?
No, I haven't seen any actual poppy sellers, but I'm seeing more people wear them than before.
Well, I think
Good thing too.
yeah, it is really, and also because of the fact, I think one thing that I believe, I'm getting in trouble for this, that the British Legion's got to get over is the fact that it's not just for wars 70 or 100 years ago. You've got to get over the fact to the younger people that it's for present conflicts as well. Because if the schools don't teach it, you know, that's going to be a problem. It's for wars that we fought and the people that have suffered and are still suffering, and for present conflict. So
They had there was some publicity a little while ago that they had an advert with the poppies making up the image of a man.
Oh, the Poppy Man with
Right.
the woman in the field.
Has that been on television? Because
Well, I haven't got a telly, but the Poppy Man's been travelling around because the kids that have been buying poppies off me know about him. And I think the advert's been on telly because one of my neighbours was telling me, but I haven't got a telly. So
right, because I seem to remember that they refused it to be on TV because it was political.
Really?
But then maybe that got overturned by somebody with more sense.
Well, if anybody's sort of seen it, but I know that there was an advert with a Poppy Man and a field with poppies, and there was a little girl with her mum.
Right,
Is
that's
that
right.
the one is that the one you're talking about?
Well, I only saw a still picture of it, but it sounds like what you just described.
Okay, yeah, but the kids know about the Poppy Man, so unless the schools are just telling them, I presume it has been on telly. Hopefully it's been overturned because it's ridiculous.
That is silly, isn't it?
You know.
Anyway, listen, thanks a lot, Morel. You keep on keeping on, all right?
I will. Thanks a lot.
Cheers,
Bye.
ta-ra. Here is Ballum. Oh, Anne.
Hello.
Hello, Anne.
Hi. All I want to say is, I wish fireworks would only go off on the right night. I've got them tonight. For some apparent reason, just going, well, I think they're being thrown up and down my road.
Well, yeah, it's, yeah, I think you just either get, this year, we've been really lucky. There are hardly any round our way, but it's just, if a local, hoolie decides to, set them off, then you just
Yes.
don't get lucky.
No, I suppose.
But selling explosives to teenagers, that doesn't seem like a very good idea to me. I mean, just the
No,
whole
it
concept
isn't.
of it, yeah.
Because they can be very dangerous. Where I am, in Balham, it's, I don't know whether you know Balham.
Yeah, it's the gateway to the south.
Oh, is it? You wouldn't think so. No, where I am is the bottom of Balham Hill, and they can stand in one corner and just throw them down the road, and if they hit a car, God help us.
Well, that's kids, isn't it, Anne? I mean, you can remember being a kid, can't you? You did riotous and awful things when
yes,
you were
I
a child,
was a
I bet.
kid. But believe you me, I've never done a thing like that.
You never
I've
did anything.
allowed-
You never
I was
did anything
allowed
wrong.
to.
You didn't do anything wrong when you were a kid.
I used to do plenty of things
See,
wrong,
I-
and I used to get a slap for it.
Yeah, well, that's the difference now, isn't it? You can't.
no,
for health and
it's not
safety,
fun.
they won't let you slap them now. It's illegal.
I know.
And did it do you any harm, Anne?
No, none at all.
Me
In
either.
actual fact, my father would take his belt off to us.
Right, and it's made you the person that you are today.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And we should bring that back straight away. Am I right?
Yes.
They should be saying, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?"
No.
All right.
No.
Thanks a lot, Anne. Cheers, my dear.
Okay, right, bye-bye.
Ta-da. Dad grabbed a drunken teenager. He thought he was trying to break into his home and handed him to the police. Did you read about this?
Nope.
He's a head chef who has children aged 5 and 15, and naturally his caring parental instincts got into gear when he heard somebody trying to break into his house. Heard a noise at the window of his townhouse at around 10:30 in the evening. He opened the curtains and spotted the yob teetering on the window ledge. He said he must have jumped over railings and climbed up a drain pipe, so presumably this was on the first floor. He was teetering on a window ledge. When he went out, the guy went out and remonstrated with the lad, the guy said that he was looking for someone.
No.
So he grabbed the kid, who managed to flee, but Mark, this chef, chased him and marched him back to waiting policemen, who arrested him.
For what?
The police said that the guy had a fat lip. We did tussle and fall to the ground, but I didn't hit him, he said. He's just making up stories, and they believed him, not me. They threw him into a jail for 15 hours. Isn't that great? We are committing societal suicide. On a daily basis, you read stuff like this. It's the latest in a string of householders to be arrested trying to protect their homes and property. And it seems like a little while ago, members of the government were queuing up to tell us that, no, don't worry about a thing. You can protect yourself and your property up to, but not including killing someone. You can do, you can literally do anything you like as long as they're not actually running away at the time. It was pretty much like that, wasn't it? Don't be concerned about protecting yourself because the law is on your side, they said. And we have reams of proof to back us up. Well, and I was thinking at the time, no, you don't. You're lying to us again. Mark, for this chap who was thrown in jail, says, this country's gone balmy. You can't even protect your own family in your own home anymore. A police spokesman said, our investigations continue. Well, that's nice, because they didn't investigate my sat-nav very much. They investigated up to the point where they said that they... Oh, well, forget it. Didn't they? It's like, oh, well, here's a number. You can send it, you can give this to your insurance company, who will refuse to pay, to pay out because I hadn't locked my glove box. Like that would have made any difference.
Did you tell them you hadn't locked it?
Yeah.
But
Well,
surely them asking the question should have alerted you to the fact that there might be a problem.
Well, I was
there.
probably really drunk at the time. Didn't have my thinking brain on.
Can't you call them back and say you made a mistake?
Well,
you just remembered
I
you did
wanted
lock
to
it.
take it back, yeah. But are you suggesting that you lie to an insurance company?
No, of course not.
Here's another one. Angry landlord Wendy Batt is to sue police after she was arrested for phoning a runaway tenant who trashed one of her properties. And how annoying must that be, by the way? Wendy, 46, was owed £1,000 when she found the flat in Essex filthy and empty, except for abandoned cats. She rang a work number for the woman concerned 3 times. She was then arrested on suspicion of harassment. Isn't that incredible? You're stunned into silence.
Incredible.
This is why I don't read the newspapers.
Because it's just irritating.
Yeah.
It is. It just makes my blood boil. I'm on pills.
I'd rather bury my head in the sand now.
She was arrested on suspicion of harassment and held for 8 hours before being released without charge. Police would not comment. Too ashamed, I would think. 9:45 is Travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. And the North Circuit...
I've got easy tattooed on my head. Much good that's done me. You hear that there's a guy who wants to offer his back as advertising. A guy called Jonathan Mothers is offering firms the chance to tattoo advertising on his back. He's offering to keep the artwork on his back for life. The walking billboard intends to go travelling and will expose his torso to as many people as possible. He's an estate agent and is advertising his idea on the networking site My Face Facebook. He says there's been a great response. Oh, come off it, mate. And if more than one firm wants to advertise, I could divide the space and sell it off that way. You know how much he wants? That's right. £1 million.
What?
£1 million to have your company's name tattooed on his back.
Does that get you the whole back? Like the upper half or something?
I would
Who's gonna
imagine.
wanna do that?
I would. Well, exactly. Who would want to advertise their wares on some bloke's back? I mean, that's not exactly high-class advertising, is it?
And how many people are really going to see it?
Well, he is offering to show it to as many people as possible. I offer to show my torso to as many people as possible.
And then
So
you got
far,
arrested.
no takers.
You get paid not to.
Yeah. £1 million he wants. I mean, if it was like a £5, you'd think that somebody would take him up on it. But anyone who's got £1 million to spend on advertising isn't going to want their product associated with some geezer walking around with his shirt off. You just despair with some people. That bloke's a nutter.
Didn't, sort of on the same theme, didn't farmers start offering up cows that were grazing by the side of motorways and things?
Yeah, that does ring a bell.
To be kind of blazoned with
That's terrible.
company names.
Yeah. Well, there's a company now that's started to produce the largest advertisements in the world for the benefit of plane passengers. They're taking over whole fields.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. There's one for a strip club, wasn't there, with a pole dancer?
Really?
Yeah.
Where's that?
It was.
You noticed that
It was
one?
on the approach to.
Not to anywhere in this
Stansted or
country. In this
something.
country?
Yeah.
Good grief.
'Cause there was a big, uproar about it. Yeah, it was like a crop circle, but for a
pole dancer.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was
Great.
perfectly done.
Yes, whole fields, like the size of a football field, literally, or even bigger, are being given over to advertising. And it would have to be a blunt and punchy image, the likes of which you've just described perfectly. That would get your attention. That would get your seat back up in the landing position. Speaking of which, by the way, we need more cuddles. Hectic modern life means that most people are not getting enough hugs, a survey found. Now, my question about this is, do I even need to pose the question? I mean, really, who and why? Those are my two questions. A third get fewer than one cuddle a day, and 3 in 4 want more. This has something to do with, this is along the same lines as what Paul Ross was talking about earlier on with the dog people. You had some people in banging on about dogs. Now, my problem with dogs is just that. The constant yapping, yeah. Dogs are fine. I mean, they're stupid and they smell, but they're noisy. And if you could just remove the noisy part, then they'd be fine. If you could remove some of their teeth, that might be a good idea as well, especially with the, the more vicious and violent breeds, Staffordshire Bull Terriers being among them. And everyone who owns a Staffordshire Bull Terrier right now is saying, oh no, they're lovely with kids.
Until they...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bite their face off, yes.
I can only eat one a day.
But if they could just get rid of the constant yapping, then that would be fine. In fact, you'd have a cat. You'd have something that responds to, love and attention. If you get the right kind of cat, then it's going to follow you around and, and seek out your company. Yeah, it doesn't bark at you. I mean, that's like, a cat is a dog with all the annoying bits smoothed over, am I right? Because you don't have to go and walk it. This woman that Paul Ross had in, she said that, they went through, all the people who were having problems with their dogs. They're just basically stupid people who don't know how to run an animal, and just bought one because they think it's really nice, but they didn't actually think through that it's
dogs
it's
not
a real,
just for Christmas.
Exactly, it's a real living thing. And in every instance, they said, "Well, when do you walk it?" And every single family that had a problem dog said, "Oh, we don't." Can you imagine such a thing? They don't exercise it. No wonder the thing's going crazy. But, no, it seems to me that a cat is a dog with all the annoying parts smoothed over.
No.
That's true.
Cats are annoying because they only like you when they want food.
No, that's not true. They like you when they want strokes, too. And
yeah, but the strokes lead to, feed me.
Not really, no.
The cats
does
want
with my
strokes
cat.
all the time.
Yes, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No,
because
it can be annoying.
Because this is part of this cuddles and hugs thing. It's contact with other living things that's the thing, and it's been said over and over that petting animals lowers your blood pressure level. It will actually stop you dying forever. Under 3s got the most hugs. 15 to 17-year-olds got the least. Well,
yeah, but you don't want to hug kids, do you?
Spotty, greasy, moany, whiny.
Stop whining.
No wonder. Said in a poll for a soap brand. What's going through their mind? Would use our soap and you will be cleaner and fresher smelling, so people will want to hug you more?
Yeah, I guess
that can be the only thing that they would be thinking of. They'd love me to mention their name right now. I'm not going to do it. Psychologists say we need at least one hug per day to combat and cope with everyday stresses. Dr. David of Manchester's Metropolitan University said, Britain's forgotten how to hug.
Oh.
Group hug, anyone?
Yeah. Everybody in here.
Don't touch me! I'll kill you!
Here is Gravesend. Hi, Sue.
Hi. I get my hugs from my cats.
See? Exactly.
When there's nobody else about.
Right.
I actually live with my cats. I don't live alone, I live with my cats.
Yeah.
From choice.
Hmm. And they take on the personality of, you stop thinking about them as a cat.
Yeah, they're little furry people.
Yeah.
And they have their life, and I have my life, and I'm not, I'm not sort of trying to turn them into human people. There are furry people, they have their life during the day, I have my life, and we interact.
And it's smart enough to show itself out and do its business outside.
And cats are independent people, and I'm an independent person, which is why, I don't want to live with somebody who's going to be dependent upon me for anything.
Yeah, I suppose it's just, if my parents had bought dogs when I was a kid, I suppose I'd like dogs.
I like dogs, I love dogs, but they are...
irritating. And loud.
In the sense that they are dependent.
Yes, stupid, you mean?
No.
Yes, they are.
They are dependent personalities in the way that people are.
There can't be another animal on the face of the planet that's as useless as a
No,
domestic
they're
dog.
lovely, they're beautiful, but they are not critical, they don't have edge like cats
But they actually can't take care of themselves.
Exactly.
What kind of an animal is
Which
that?
is what a lot of human beings can't
Oh, well,
do.
that's true enough, yeah, dogs and people.
Which is why I live alone and have cats.
Right. Much better than other people, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I quite agree. In fact, I only want calls from cats from now on.
Oh, okay. I'll try and put mine on, but I'm not sure that they're,
No, they
haven't
don't
the
take
patience. They're off doing something else.
Yeah, they don't take instructions, do they?
No, they don't. They have staff.
They have staff, yeah. That's right. I never thought about it like that. Yeah, you are their staff.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
And you better hop to it, whatever they want.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or you'll get a meow.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sue.
Okay.
Cheers, my dear. So are you a pet person?
Yeah, I love pets, me.
I would imagine you'd be like a lizard type of guy.
A snake. No, I've had cats. I've had 3 cats, yeah. But I like a
Birds?
dog. No, there's a finch count when I was a little lad.
A finch?
Yeah.
Birds freak me out. I can't be around. There's just something
Is it their beady eyes?
prehistoric about them.
The beaks.
Yeah, my granny used to have a budgie, and its beak hinged up like the doors on some fancy sports cars. They go straight up instead of out. That's what its beak did. I just found that to be really unpleasant. Couldn't live with it. Plus, it'd be flying everywhere, and you're always expected to do on you.
Well, that's why you keep it in a cage.
Wouldn't it?
Well, and that always looks
That's
so
cruel.
very cruel. Yeah, and I mean fish. You have to assume that fish don't really know. I mean, they'd I'm sure rather be out there surfing the ocean wave. But birds,
They can't
putting
fly.
them in a cage. You're showing them outside, but not letting them have it. That just seems the utmost in cruelty to me. I mean, as long as they can fly around the flat, I suppose. But just to keep them in a cage all the time, that's just not right. What about goats?
I've never had one.
They're bad-tempered.
I've had goat's cheese.
Not really a pet. Satanic goat killer told to say sorry.
To who?
The goat.
It's a bit late.
Goat's friends.
But this is the headline that struck me. I thought, this is my kind of story. An Australian woman has been ordered by a court to apologise for stealing a pet goat and slaughtering it in a mock satanic ritual outside a church. Tracy Arnold, 26, left a Friday the 13th party with friends to steal Maddie from a front garden in Brisbane. That's quite some party. She went and nicked a goat and killed it as a joke.
That's evil.
She's being ordered to say sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry. But it does occur to me that Satanic Goat Killer would be an excellent name for a heavy metal band.
Rock and roll!
Clive's next.